Hello, Speed Gaming, and welcome to A Link to the Past Randomizer Playoffs. I am Dapper Wormman, and today I am joined by Tracy M on commentary. We've got Arya Stark and Plasma Steak tracking for you today, and we've got a co-op Retrance Game 2. On your left side, we've got Longshots, represented by Tyler Salt and Dr. Earworm. And on the right side, IPBJ time. It's Jawsome Sauce and PTM. Welcome, everyone. As I mentioned before, we've got Retrance today, and that is Crossworld. Basically, it's key sanity, sort of like cross keys like you're used to, except we have universal keys, rupee bow, and some other stuff that we'll be talking about today. But Tracy, what do you think about this Game 2 matchup today?
It's Retrance, so it's going to be chaos. Four screens for us to follow. Retrance, meaning we have the Crossworld, we have the big keys shuffled. Thank goodness we don't have to keep track of small keys because they're just going to buy them and find them. But yeah, it's going to be chaotic, but it's going to be fun.
It sure is fun. And then to add to all that chaos, the teammates are in a voice call with each other. So they are saying what they are finding. You're going to expect them to go to different places as we get, a Sank start and a Link's house start, and we get a piece of heart and $20. I'd say money is not important, but it is in Retrance.
No, money is huge, and especially in co-op. Resources, you see it in any co-op where like one player gets a ton of hearts, the other player doesn't. But with money, that can be a problem.
You still have to buy the Zora things. You have to talk to the bottle vendor, pay $100 there, and then there's that rupee bow. So it's, what is it, $5 per?
$10 per regular arrow, 50 for silver. So yeah, it gets very expensive very quickly.
Oh, that's not nice. And then I did forget about something. We do have a starting sword in Retrance, so that is nice. And we have our sanctuary in Kakariko, so that's really nice. All those trips to Kakariko we're going to make. Ooh, and some bombs in the back of Blind's hut, or the bottom, so we can get into the back.
Yep. Yeah, and the the bows are still progressive, but you got to buy arrows before you can use them. Plus that money we're talking about. So yeah, there's a lot of little details in Retrance. Oh yeah, the swords. There's a take any sword out there. There are take any container hearts where you can choose to take a heart or a bottle to represent what the take any's in Z1. Yeah, all the retro stuff comes off of Z1. Although I'll tell you, in Z1 they don't charge us extra for silver arrows like they do here. So
yeah, it's quite a hefty fee. And we see both Jaws and Tyler Salt getting that fake flipper and checking out. The Useless Fairy entrance is our Ganon today, so it's a very free and open Ganon. And then they set up this hula hand trick to get 225 rupees, which, as we mentioned, is very important in Retrance. And we have a nice chicken house there in Kakariko, just slightly moved, as was Blind's hut.
Yeah, the hula hand start in any kind of cross keys is a really common start. A little more powerful in this, and there's one of those take any's. Power to Mario PTM grabbing the heart container. I have taken to when I play Retrance, not taking those and saving those for the bottles later, especially if they're in an easy place to get back to. But the hearts are not bad either, because in Retrance, if you just take all the hearts, you're just gonna end up with 20 hearts. It's just going to happen. Because you have four, it's like 4 extra container hearts in the pool. Oh, we do have the rupee, the 50 rupee K, which is actually kind of a nice find in Retrance if you can get to that easily. Just because anytime you need money, you can come back there. And with the flute, if it decides to show up, we'll be able to do that, which is nice.
Absolutely. Not many connectors here in Kakariko or any of the other overworld traversals here. But we have a little divergence. Jaws coming to Kakariko from the south, and Tyler's going to go show us the Eastern Palace area, starting with Sahasrara's hut.
Yeah, I like checking this area because you don't need a glove for any of the entrances here. So you can get through all the entrances without leaving any behind.
And there's our first connector.
Yeah, that's a terrible place for a connector.
And awful. Jaws did find the hype cave and did not talk to the NPC. He might have actually given out bombs, but Jaws must have not gotten any bombs from those bushes
You
along
should
the way.
yeah, you should still talk to the NPC. Like that's one of the
Yeah,
gotchas in entrance modes in general is the NPC will still give you something even if you're going into the dark world and you're a bunny. So just getting
yeah.
used to always talking to the NPC. In this case, you're going to come back with bombs. So it's probably not that big a deal. But you're right. It could have just been bombs.
And Jaws and PTM doing a little bit of a high five there. Let's see. He's going to talk to
It's
him. Oh, it's the shield. Such a good dodge by Jaws there. If you don't like shields,
Is there
what do we
anything in
got?
the back of
Bunny.
bottle? Bottle with a fairy, not the best thing in the world in terms of entrance modes until you have a mirror, because typically you'll use that fairy when you're trying to death warp.
Yeah, that is one thing. With all that health that you say you were talking about, you do accumulate a lot of hearts. And I've definitely played a solo veterans mode where I've been on 20 hearts and keep finding the pieces of heart with heart containers because I took so many of those
And they
take
don't
any hearts.
once you get to 20, they don't do anything. They don't even give
Nope.
you a refill. So,
And I
oh,
think
yay, we got
Tyler's going to backtrack here as Dr. Earworm has found Desert
yeah.
Palace East.
Desert is nice in restaurants because you can check 3 items immediately. Plus, it's a connector. Yeah, Tyler's just going to go back to this connector, the other Kakariko connector.
And the old lady takes us to the dark world, the Dark Death Mountain. That's
Yep.
kind of interesting if the mirror shows up. Oh, and there's a bottle that we
You'd
can't get.
really like to grab that. It's got blue in it. You're probably, I mean, there might be a situation where you can go out of your way to get it, but yeah, not ideal.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not like Hammer Peg's cave where you can walk around and get that item. You
Right.
have to actually lift up the things, the pots.
Yeah, you can sequence break it with the mirror, but you need to at least have the mirror to get Super Bunny State, as far as I know, to get that item.
Yeah, I tell you what, Tyler Saul has already found Ganon, right? I think I would have dropped down first, but he's going to go in here and find Skull
Yeah,
Woods.
I'm
He's
a
going
big
into the
fan.
castle.
I'm a big fan of dropping down once you found Ganon. Like, I mean, yes, you
Yeah,
might get the useless fairy or the magic bat, which you can't do. But it's especially for this particular location, it's just faster to
yeah,
get that this way. Now what he's gonna do is he's gonna go ahead and death warp out of here, and then he's gonna go in from the other side. And if it's something he wants to do, then he has to go back all the way around to do it. If it's not something he
mhm.
wants to do, then he'll save time from not just jumping down.
I think he should just go around no matter what. It's going to be useless fairy or it's going to be something. But he maybe wants a street pull here. And speaking of drop downs, we do get back of Sanctuary, which has 2 heart containers, and
Yeah,
I think that was a blue cane.
blue cane, which is relevant. Okay, it was a magic bat, so we don't have to worry about that right now. But
He's,
yeah, the blue cane is relevant because it will potentially give us Spike Cave access once we have Hammer and Glove. It also puts Laser Bridge in logic. Not that the runners are likely to skip that anyway if they find it, but the blue cane tells them that you should do this rather than just you can do it. Since Laser
yeah,
Bridge, since the logic in entrance modes does not have the advanced logic, so you'll need lamps for any dark rooms. You'll need a safety item or the mirror shield for Laser Bridge to be in logic. Little things like that. So just things to keep in mind as we find Hyrule Castle.
yeah. And I missed how PTM got to the Dark World, but here he is in the Dark World without the Moon Pearl. So he's bunny walking around.
Yeah, not a huge fan of doing early bunny walking. It's slow. You end up having to double check locations because it's fine when it's something that you just can't do, or well, fine when it's something that you don't need to do. But when it's a chest that you can't open, it's not great. We have lots of other things. We have Tyler Salt in Hyrule Castle. It's veteran, so we don't care about small keys, so we just go do it. This is completely in logic, and it's these 3 checks here.
Yeah, you might be used to watching cross keys. That's a more popular mode that you see in races, and there's a lot of talk about logic with small keys. But in this mode, you are considered to have infinite small keys. So everything behind small keys is in logic. That's why we got to go to desert. We're here going to Zelda's cell right now.
Yeah, and that's great until you start clearing a bunch of things that
Yeah,
you don't need to do because like I'm talking to you, Pod. Pod is the worst in veterans because
yeah.
everything's in logic with the lamp and a bow, and you just have everything available. It's 13 items plus one item on the boss, and it's like nothing there. There's never anything there.
And Tyler getting that force slash in after that pot right before Green Guard showed up as we get our first big key that I've
Yeah,
seen, the Desert Palace big
Desert
key.
Big Key that could be relevant. Don't know yet whether Desert's pendant or crystal. We don't know much.
And I did notice that Jossum Sauce found the upgrade fairy, which in this mode only has the bomb upgrades. So he
Right.
now has 15 bomb capacity, and then of course immediately after doing that you get the refill, and then he finds that the tree pole is bombs. So he got his nice refill and then was maxed out. As we see, PTM also getting that upgrade capacity. He's choosing to spend the $100 on that instead of possibly a key later.
Yeah, I don't like that money expenditure.
No, I don't either.
Like money is so important in this mode that using it on that just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, for the most part, except for the very, very early game, bombs are just not an issue. You know, I mean, there are certain things that could come up. An early Vitreous fight, having extra bombs is useful.
Yeah,
Things like that. So it's not like it's a terrible play, but I just see the resource management is a key in this mode, and knowing when and when not to spend your money is important. And just spending it this early when you just don't know what the arrow situations is that you're gonna have, what the key situation is, just doesn't seem uh, like the right call to me.
yeah. So just a reminder, this as we're talking about this in this mode, the bow, the arrows cost money, the $10. It's sort of a retro gimmick. And I did notice that Jaws saw a big key at Lumberjack Ledge. So we're going to have to beat Aga Tower if we're going to want to get to that. And
Oh, those are the
Tyler,
worst.
yeah,
It's
Tyler
just
found a small key, which I believe was at the Smith sort of
mhm.
magic bat area. Jossum Sauce finding that key that Tyler found, which is Lumberjack Interior, and it's actually, I'm sorry, it's the
you,
Sanctuary. So
you see what
that'll be free.
you see what Doc found in
Well,
Eastern Big.
he's in
He,
Eastern. What does he
he,
find in the?
he he finds the Eastern Big Key.
Oh, well, that's nice. Maybe the bow will show up in that chest.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Although, in this mode, you need to find a shop that sells the
Yep,
arrows, and nobody
yep.
has
That
those
would
arrows on their HUD right now.
that would I would be very upset if I found a bow in this mode, having not found, like this is a full clearable Eastern, except I haven't found an arrow shop. And that's another issue that like you see in particular PTM with 44 rupees. I won't even be able to buy arrows when he finds the arrow shop. And in this mode, you
Yeah.
kind of want to just be able to find arrow shop, buy arrows if you can.
That's another reason I don't like that he bought. He knew that that was the upgrade capacity,
Yeah.
and Jaws has now doubled back for the potion shop overworld, which was interior of Aga or Agina, excuse me, and that was just a piece of heart there. And Longshots. Now we have shovel percent. I
Mm.
think all four people have
Has
gotten that
anyone
shovel.
has anyone actually dug the spot up? I'm actually not sure.
I have not seen anyone go and dig anything yet. So excuse me, PTM does not have that shovel, or at least it's not tracked right now. As we apparently got a Bombos as well as the flute in Eastern Palace.
Yep,
Thank you to our
Eastern's giving us
tracker.
stuff. We got one more check in Eastern. This one not in logic, so we don't have a lamp, but we're gonna go check it anyway. With this much health, and with a sword, this is pretty trivial. This is one of the easiest dark rooms in the game, honestly.
Yeah, and the do I go into Eastern? Do I not? Is not really an option in co-op. You just kind of go in there because your teammate is doing all the other checks. As I did see that we got the Desert Palace big key on Tyler Salt's side. That was in the Meyer shed. I'm not sure what that entrance was, but he did get that. So might have to make a trip through that desert front that we are aware about.
Okay, and with all the goodies in Eastern, Tyler's just gonna follow Dr. Earworm into Eastern Palace and get those things.
And here's that shovel check. It's 20 bucks. We'll take
Oh,
that.
maybe. I mean,
Uh,
not the worst thing you could get. Like that's 2 arrow shots, but definitely not what you're hoping for. And just as an aside, as much as the arrows cost, any pot or drop that would be an arrow, it switches to a blue rupee, so 5 rupees. So you don't even get what like a pot that would normally give you like 10 arrows, gives you like half an arrow instead. It's really bad.
And I believe I was wrong because PTM just picked up the Desert Big in Zelda Cell as
Yeah,
we
that's
seen
where.
earlier. So it was TR Big that Tyler got. Thank you, PTG in chat for correcting me.
Yeah, that's
Jaws doing the double take, almost going out, but decides to go into Eastern. That's going to be good for IPPJ team.
yeah, they're gonna need that now. That I okay now it looks like I mean it's actually would have been good for PTM to stay in there in terms of what actually is in there, but as a general strategy, if there's something for your other runners to do, it's usually better to send them to a different location rather than
Yeah,
following each other, especially in a dungeon that you can't actually finish. I don't
yeah.
even know if you want to finish.
We'll see if PTM. Nope, he's going to go right up into this entrance as well, and then have to double back for that drop down. Actually, going to work out because we're not going to be able to use the magic bat anyway. But when we get the powder, we will be able to use that. Turn in that for an item at Magic Bat.
And of course, the flute isn't necessarily going to be required. In fact, it's pretty common for the flute to not be a required item, but we haven't found a connection to the mountain. So it's entirely possible that this particular seed is requiring a flute for mountain access. I imagine at least 2 of our runners are going to be heading there relatively soon. Oh, hammer! Hammer on race game. Okay, well, that's probably going to be required.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
mean, I say probably because the hammer does not have to be required in entrance mode because with Turtle Rock, and I'm not even counting. Not this is not even not even considering Specky Clip in Swamp Palace because there are 4 dungeons normally that require the hammer, but in Cross Keys in entrance, the Turtle Rock no longer requires a hammer. So there's only 3 dungeons that logically require a hammer. So we already had the situation where the hammer doesn't have to be required. Now that said, uh, the odds are pretty low that that's going to happen. In the meantime, Tyler's not going to check out Ice Palace.
very interesting, especially with that flute showing up. I'm surprised nobody has rushed the mountain. Although
I
the
think
mountain's
Doc's heading
very,
up there.
yeah, the mountain's very time consuming. I could see wanting to send one person there instead of 2 people at the same time.
Tyler just wanted to do
Uh,
one check in Ice Palace. I might have kept going without glove or hammer. It's not that bad if you just skip out on the Ice Palace bomb jump and no Canis Mario to do
yeah,
Icebreaker. Ice Tea in particular likes to have things in early checks in.
yeah.
It's not
And the
unusual.
spike room, freezer
Yep.
chest is in logic,
Hmm.
especially with a known hammer. That
Yep.
maybe the mirror shows up, and that's the way that we get that hammer.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
so
Amir, I can tell you, I've definitely seen plenty of mirrors in iced tea
oh,
in
I've seen way
entrance
too
zones.
many.
For some reason, it's always the mirror. I swear.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, not a bad call to just do the first chest and then leave. He did have a
Yeah.
small key though, so he would have been able to get that spike room. Maybe worry about health or something like that,
Oh,
or just
hello, hook shot in Spec Rock Cave that we cannot get because it's on the other
okay.
side.
But this is a connector that a lot of people seem to forget about. I definitely didn't know about it as a connector in my first few seeds that I played.
This
So
is a
long
terrible
shots,
connector.
yeah. But still not going up the mountain. I'm a little surprised no one's saving the old man or anything like that.
Yeah, I
And
mean
it
that's a
goes to
pretty
the purple.
easy. It's no, I would check this area if I
Oh,
were. Yeah, just go ahead and it's
please
not.
check.
Yeah, check these entrances. You might find something. Um, but
You
yeah,
know,
oh,
you
here we go. Jossum Sauce heading to the mountain. Finally, we do have someone at the mountain, and with the sword, the old man rescue is pretty free. So even though it's not in logic, you do it. Oh, hey, look, we can get the hook shot now.
oh, of
See,
course.
this is why you stay here in Myra and you check these because you can
Yeah,
grab this hook shot even as a bunny. I have
you
no
were
idea what
talking.
that bunny sprite is.
That looks like Marvin the Martian or something
It
from the
does kind of.
Flintstones. You were talking about bunny walking is slow and time consuming, but at least in the Meyer area, it's a limited amount of checks you can do. You
Right.
get that info. We did see the Bombos medallion is used to get in, so we know where that is.
Yep.
That's good knowledge. And this bunny walking to get that hook shot, I would say, is in logic at
Like
this point.
it is, and it's like there's three entrances total in this area. You've come out of one or two of them at most. Most unless you've come out of the Meyer entrance itself. There's at most three entrances to check, and you
Yeah.
can do it relatively quickly. And so Tyler Salt's going to follow and grab this hook shot and won't check this other one because Doc already did.
Yeah, and we're gonna get. I think now is the time for the mountain that we have the hook shot. One person can do the left, one
Yeah.
person can do the right.
Yep. They can split that up pretty nicely. We did find, I'm not sure, I assume this is on the mountain somewhere. We do see Paradox
Yeah,
Cave on Jossum Sauce side.
a nice 7-item cave, the only one in the game.
So far, not great findings, although 50 rupees is little more important in reference as opposed to cross keys.
Hmm. Now, the shop that is here in Paradox, can that possibly hold the quiver for the arrows, or is it not able to
No.
do that?
You know what? I've actually never looked at the shop. I assume it's just always this normal shop. So yeah, that's actually a good question. I might have to start checking that shop out now. Now there's going to be multiple arrow shops. There's more. Fortunately there's not just one. I don't know what the actual number is, but there will be multiple ways. We're going to get this bomb jump here to check
Hmm.
these, and maybe that he doesn't even want to do the other connectors until after he's done all the mountain. We did see a glove, so
Yeah,
glove
that glove,
in Paradox.
that was in Paradox. And we didn't get the stun prize there. It was a rupee of some kind. Tyler did kill one of these shooters. As
Oh
we see,
yay, a
see the old man
mushroom.
floating through a rock there. Nice.
Yeah, and then we have a nice mushroom sitting there on Spectacle Rock and a pendant Thieves Town, because of course. But hey, 4 items in the front, we'll get those at the very least.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe the Thieves Big will show up in here too, just like the Eastern Big was in Eastern Palace.
No, let the Thieves Big rot somewhere that we never find, because this is a pendant. We don't really want to do it.
Maybe that's the one on the lumberjack entrance that
It
we are
sure
going to have
could
to beat
be.
Aga for. Compass to Eastern though. Okay.
But yeah, that's the speaking of that big key, that is one of the worst items you can have. Anything where you can't tell whether you need it, like just tell me it's a thing I need and I'll go get it.
Yeah,
Whereas the big key
a
is like,
glove or a sword or something.
now if I do have the ability to do Aga Tower, just give me with whichever fire source, because Aga Tower, while it's never in logic with Fire Rod, it's actually pretty easy with Fire Rod. If I'm a big key from Go mode, and I know there's a big key there, and I have the boots to get it, and I have a fire source to get through Aga Tower cleanly, I'm just going and getting and hoping it's the right answer.
Absolutely. And Joss does take that death warp there.
Yeah,
Gimme Moldorm's not being nice.
I think I did see the fairy release first, so heads up there. We're gonna have a bunch of flares on the mountain now.
So with the hook shot and things like that, I'm wondering when the IPPJ team goes through that Spectacle Rock connector, maybe the other um, glove shows up and they can get to the Mizumar area that way,
Hmm.
although that probably wouldn't be a good idea without Moon Pearl. And Tyler did take an overworld death there, climbing up the mountain. I don't think was able to get up the mountain and get that glove.
Yeah, he took a death as he was trying to get over to the east side. Only at 4 hearts. Like looking at our runners, by far the least number of hearts there for Tyler Salt.
Hmm.
Only at, it's very easy to take a lot of damage very quickly in this area. Everything doing a heart of damage. And where's the old man spit us out? Oh, that's relatively useless. I mean, there's a
Yeah,
few things that are kind of nearby that aren't bad. We can do. I don't know what's behind. Hey, there's an arrow shop on Jaws' side, and it
yeah.
buys the arrows. I like that. Um,
That old man letting us out at the Farius, or not a Farius Ascension Cave, the old man Ascension Cave entrance. Maybe after we beat Aga, it'll be the
so,
fastest way to
oh,
run
and
to
hey,
the lumberjack tree.
so Jossum Sauce, answering your question whether or not arrows can be bought there. The answer is yes. There were arrows.
Okay,
That was the spec rock
good
cave. So
to
I
know.
learned something today. I literally have never checked that for arrows. So it's randomized with all the other shops.
I'm really glad he remembered that because I know he's sort of new to the entrance mode.
Mhm.
Decided he had to play it this year and learned cross keys for what was it, week 6,
Yep.
and now teaming up with PTM. So maybe PTM reminded him of that, and PTM does get through that murder dactyl screen and gets to Dark Flute 5, and that's nothing today. Must not
And
have
by
wanted
the
to fill
way,
up his bottle.
a stack GT. We've done 3 checks in GT. We got a bow and we see a cane sitting on the torch waiting for us,
Oh
which
man,
we have.
all of our nice items are just visible and teasing us.
All right. I don't think we see. Yeah, we got new checks over here in the Ice Rod Cave area for Dr. Earworm.
Yeah, he's gonna use that glove, I think. That's a good time to come over here is when you have the glove and maybe some bombs as well.
Yeah, C-shaped house. Okay, with the small key.
Yeah, those are still in the prize pool. Thankfully, you do not have to um, only get them from the shops. So
Okay,
as
Tyler
much,
must have already done that because all he
yeah,
did
he's
was grab the small key. Meanwhile, Tyler's
yeah.
in Thieves Town. Uh, there was something in here.
Jaws has not turned in the flute yet. He is walking from Eastern. Okay, there he goes. He's remembered to turn in the flute.
Yeah.
Okay, back to sing that song.
The bomb shop. Our red crystals are Hera and Swamp. So we will need
Okay.
flippers. We will have to find the dam. The hammer will at the very least be logically required.
And of course, that hook shot, which is there in the
Hmm.
Spectacle Rock Cave, and it's only accessible from the Meyer Ferry entrance.
Yeah, I don't know if any of our runners are hoverers. That'd be the only way you can sequence break that item.
Oh, right. Yeah, that is possible. I know Jaws can't. And then, of course, Tyler and Dr. Earworm, I think they both can, but they've both obtained the hook shot at this point.
Yep, and they won't need it.
Kind of an ironic thing to hover to get the hook shot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's favorite hookshot location is that first bonk chest in Hookshot Cave, right?
Yeah, shot chest. And I don't know if we checked the excuse me, Dr. Earworm is going through here, going through desert without the big key. Tyler has that big key, so we are still not getting that Desert Palace big key check.
Yeah,
That
we're
leads
not
us
going
out
back
to
in.
uh, Desert
Let's
West leads to Dark Shopping Mall today, and we cannot get the rock over there because we do not have the Moon Pearl yet.
yeah, so we'll probably have to check that again later.
And I see someone probably wondering what reference is. Basically, think about cross keys. All the entrances are randomized with each other, and you can take a connector from Light World to Dark World. So that's the cross world part of it. But it's also a retro world state. So the keys are universal. You have to buy the arrows in a shop, and they cost $10, or excuse me, 10 rupees to fire an arrow, or actually 50 if you're going to find the silver arrows. So money is very important, money management. And this is also a co-op mode. They are in a voice call, uh, sharing where all the items are, where all
So
the
chaos.
entrances are.
It's
It's pure
chaos.
chaos, yes. So the two on your left are in a voice call with each other, as are the two on the right. They are teammates, and this is playoffs. So IPBJ hoping to win this game and win the playoff series 2-0. And the
There's
long
Laser
shots,
Bridge.
yeah, the long shots need to win this one to extend the series, as we do get that. So that is a Dark World entrance for that laser bridge
That is
turtle
a
rock entrance.
very out of logic laser bridge. Um, Now there are a few ways this could actually be in logic. If we get boots to get that cane, we do have and we have this. We already have the Turtle Rock Big Key, So it could become in logic from the top, from the west entrance that we do have available to us.
Hmm.
Or the Moon Pearl will put it in logic because we can get to it.
Yeah,
Now,
we did find the blue cane.
yeah, because we do. Yeah, the blue cane is available. Now, the runners are more likely to do this anyway. It's 4 items right away. And of course, in most dungeons, you can do what's called bunny revive, which basically means you kill yourself in the dungeon, and the dungeon thinks you're no longer a bunny. There are a few things that happen weirdly if you deal with actual bunny beams, but for the most part, you can do everything you would normally do. Now, there are a couple dungeons you can't do this on just because, like Tower of Terror in particular, you have no way to get anything to kill you.
Yeah, that is one where you cannot die unless you've done some other shenanigans.
Yep, there are other shenanigans that you can do, but I'm not sure how legal they are, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right.
The IPBJ did find that entrance to the Spectacle Rock Cave interior, so they have obtained that hookshot on Jocelyn Sauce's side, and I also missed that we got the bow on PTM side, so now he is in the back of Eastern Palace.
Yeah, he's going to finish this up because you have all the things you need to do it, even if it's not in logic, since we don't actually have a lamp for the dark rooms. No reason not to do this at this point. And it looks like I do see a C there, so it is a crystal. We are going to have to do it anyway.
Very nice. And I see Dr. Earworm has that bow as well. And what's in Desert Big today? Just 3 bombs.
Nice job on this quick kill, but he misses it and has no arrows left. I would actually
There we go, blue cane.
yeah, you said blue. I would have used that blue cane from the start. I would have wanted to have full
Absolutely.
magic. The blue cane is kind of OP on the Armos Knights. A little bit slower than a good quick kill, but it will save that money for your arrows. You see that PTM has no money right now, and that could come back to haunt later.
But he does have 15 bombs, so feeling real comfy with bombs because he did buy that fairy upgrade to get that capacity of 15 instead of
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, I just wonder if just money is just going to be a constant issue with PTM for this race.
Yeah,
Jocelyn Sauce at 445 has a decent amount right now. And speaking of Swamp Palace, there it is. We can't do anything. We don't have flippers, and we haven't found the dam. So
yeah.
there's nothing going on there right now.
Now we
Meanwhile,
do
Dr.
know
Irwin
where
is penny
the.
walking.
Oh yeah, sorry. We do know where some of these caves where you can get money. We saw the 50 cave. Perhaps we could even find a gold bee and sell that to the bottle vendor for
Yep.
100. But PTM definitely going to have to worry about money being on no money and only 2 keys right now. Hopefully he doesn't find pod or anything like that where you're going to have to use a lot of
Yep.
keys.
All right. Also, want to shout out to Dr. Earworm taking the blue bottle in the Take Any cave because he has plenty of hearts.
I like that. And it's not a fairy, so no worrying about death warping. And we are at hookshot percent. All 4 runners have picked up that really out of the way hookshot.
Oh, I think we're going to do some. I didn't realize this Turtle Rock entrance actually does turn out to be a dark rolled entrance. So we would need Turtle Rock East or front to potentially put that laser bridge into logic without the Moon Pearl. But it looks like Dr. Earworm's going to go ahead and take a look at this and see what we got here. 2 items here. Both are in logic with a Moon Pearl. The lava chest normally behind 4 keys when we have universal keys. You can get in, you can get it. So.
And call me a liar today because the mirror is actually not the way we get to the race game. There is a connector from East Death Mountain to that Brothers race game left to get that hammer.
That does happen, and in fact, if I see an item like that on the race game, it's not a bad idea to try and prioritize those. No, don't. Okay, so Dr. Room's in a weird situation.
Oh, what
So
happened?
So remember how I talked about for the most part, you just when you bunny revive, everything acts like normal. There is an exception. So I didn't see it happen, but based on the fact that he couldn't open the chest, it means he got hit. He got hit by the bunny beam and then took damage. And what that
Yeah.
does, like I think that's what they call the lonk state. I'm not sure about that, but basically it puts you in a state where you look like Link, but you interact with things like a bunny. So he was unable to open the chest. And to get out of that, you just have to do it. I mean, you'd have to just redo the dungeon. Take the death, start over, and just do it again. As far as I know, there's no way to get out of it other than just reset everything. So
Yeah,
we're
that's
not
very
going to see that
unfortunate.
item. Yep, not going to see that item for now. Oh, by the way, where is this moon pearl? I think, you know what? I think Tyler
Hmm.
Salt may have it right here. I like this check of going further into Ice Palace.
Oh, he does get the double kill on those Stalfos Knights and
And
refills
yeah,
the magic.
yeah, and you know what? This is fully in logic. This is not an Ice Palace I want to do. Fighter Sword. Fighter Sword, Ice Palace without a Fire Rod, anyone?
We do
Without a
have
Kay to Samaria?
we don't have the big key, so technically two of these checks aren't in
Oh,
logic,
okay.
but
That's
he's
true.
gonna try and beat the boss, I think. At least you attempt it. We don't even know if it's a crystal or pendant yet. So maybe definitely get the 6 items you can get and just say, I hope I can get the 7th one.
Yeah,
Um,
5 hearts, green mail, Bombo seed. Like I say, you don't give me a fire rod, and I'm like 1,000 times happier trying to do this dungeon because the Bombos doesn't help you once you get past the shell. Oh, and Dr. Worm's gonna go do more of TR. Looks like he found. I wonder if he found TR East. I'm not sure. We're gonna get this check.
well, he had found that entrance where he revived to try and go to Lava
Right.
Shot. So that's this. But I kind of like IPBJ going to Ganon's Tower here.
Yep.
Hammer unlocks a lot of stuff there,
Sure
even
does.
especially with the infinite keys we theoretically have.
I like it less that they're both in there.
Yeah, that's not great.
I don't know that you need to be doubling up on this location.
I guess none of them wanted to go into Ice Palace, which is honestly
Uh,
fair. We'll see if
Understandable.
okay, nice key there in Icebreaker chest.
But like the odds are pretty good that there's something good here, but they are by no means guaranteed. Okay, boots.
Oh, boots
Well,
that gets
that's yeah, we need those. Probably hard required. We don't fully know our pendants and crystals, but that Canis Amaria sitting on the torch is an
yeah.
indicator that there's a really good chance that we will hard require those boots, unless the pendants decide to be exactly Meyer, Turtle Rock, and something else.
There are those boots, and also that lumberjack tree entrance. Once we beat Aga Tower, there's a big key up there.
There is
Nothing in Rando
indeed.
Room though.
And so far, we haven't found much in Ice Palace. Ice Tea, I'm telling you, Ice Tea likes to have things though, but not today.
Was there actually something in Rando Room? I thought. Oh,
Oh,
he's getting this in case it refills him, and it does
yeah.
refill him. Nice. That's kind of a smart play there. And I see that they both have the blue cane. I wonder if we're going to get some blue cane strats on Ice Armos, especially with the limited amount of arrows on PTM side.
Well, they got somewhere they found half magic. So
Yeah.
half magic, blue cane. I mean, if
So
you if you do
PTM
it
doing the
right,
bomb instead of
yeah,
bunting. Forgot he had
yeah.
boots, I think, because he is not running right now.
But yeah, the blue cane strats on the Armos Knights, without the if you do it right, you don't need any kind of refill. You can just do it without the half magic or anything else, and just finish them off. But with half magic now, it's very forgiving if you mess up. So is
Yeah.
that a big key to pod there? That could be important.
Yeah. So Jaws overtook PTM because he remembered he had the boots, and then PTM overtook Jaws because he remembered how to wait for the anti-fairy to hit that pot the second time before pulling up the pot. Jaws did not. He is using some of his arrows though. Only 180 if he does it correctly, and we're seeing why
That's
that blue cane is really good.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the time it took was a little bit longer, I think, for PTM, but like he didn't even have the money. Ice Palace Big Key. Oh boy.
Meanwhile, Tyler doing hammer cold stare. Oh, he is doing a really
Oh
good job of
boy.
dodging. This is a little bit of a keep away right now.
You can't take a hit here. Not on green mail.
Yeah, he does have blue cane, but that will not allow him to do his sword slashes, so not top of his list to use that. Does get hit by that
Yeah.
puff set that it knocks him into the eyeballs. That's unfortunate.
Okay. Well, hopefully he just comes back for this later, because the rest of the things are not in logic. And really, the long shots need to get they need to get themselves over to GT to get those locations. Looks like Jocelyn Sauce may. Oh wait. Okay, we're gonna do Tile Room.
Yeah,
That's
that's
all we can
fair.
do. We don't have, like, I'm not a fan of sequence breaking the right side, but we don't have the lamp to do it, so we can't even sequence break it, let alone do it the logical way.
Yeah, in this case, if I had the
And
lamp, I would not do it because I would wait for the big key to show up. So at least I can do the sequence break on the right side and go to the
oh,
big key
okay.
chest. Now Jaws is
We're
climbing, and
climbing.
he,
Hey,
as you
did we?
said, does not have a fire source. So this is not good, and he's realized that, and he's out.
Yeah. Well, he also doesn't have the big key.
Yeah, that is true. He
Like,
has literally zero things to help him. Wait, did he not do? I'm very
he
confused. I'm
he
very
got
confused.
well. He tried to hide out in the doorway in Tower Room, but you can't. The hand will get you anyway. And so he
Oh,
got
I see.
grabbed. And then he said, "Well, I'm going to joke. Well, why don't I just climb instead?" And then realized very quickly, fortunately, that that's not going to work.
Yeah, just dodge. Don't just walk around. You can't put
It'll
the
be fine.
controller
It'll be fine.
down.
I'm a fan of like, what I'll do is I'll use the red cane to try and you know block some of these tiles.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
it works pretty darn well. And you're guaranteed to have the red cane here because you needed to get here.
PTM is running up. Is this to go in this entrance? Maybe this is some money. No, it's hearts. Okay, what's in tile room today? And if he'd killed
And
that
20 rupees.
last tile a little earlier, he could have used the hand right away. But the hand is going to
Yep.
take too long to come back. Save and quit. Still no moon pearl today here at
No,
40 minutes.
I thought we'd find it in one of these locations that our runners were just at, whether it be in GT or in the Ice Palace play that we saw on the long shot side, and it just wasn't in any of those locations.
Yeah. Now that we found the Ice Palace big key, is that actually in logic to beat the
It
boss?
sure is.
Okay,
It
we'll
sure
see if
is.
IPBJ goes back there. Now they have half magic, so maybe get some
If the
potion
fire
refills.
rod, well, the fire rod is the only thing that half magic would help with. You can't do an X, like, you
Yeah.
could cast bombos as many times as you want, but it's only gonna help you the first time. So at the moment we are still stuck on fighter sword hammer, but like even a master sword would make a humongous difference in that fight.
Oh yeah.
Not just because now you can use the cane if you want, but also because the oh, swamp's now swamp is not in play yet because this is in the dark world. But hey, we found the dam. But yeah,
Very
just
nice.
I'm a big fan. If you're gonna be on Master Sword on Cold Stare, I like sword spins a lot. Not only because they do same damage as hammer, but they also have a tendency to double and triple and quadruple. Like they'll sometimes hit all three puffs
Oh yeah,
at the
you can get
same
a double
time. Everyone,
double
and
spin.
if you're really good and really lucky, you might even get two doubles on all three. Now that's extremely rare. I'm pretty certain I've never done it before. I've done it with two puffs, not with three.
Dr. Irem is trying to do the trick where you can kind of get
Yeah.
into the state where you can actually pull that lever
Yep.
with the damage you take from the
Yeah, if you get
anti-crit.
a yeah, if you get a well, if you can get yourself pushed in uh by an enemy, that'll also give you a super bunny state, but the locations are not always in the right place to do that.
Yeah. PTM going to Laser Bridge the vanilla way, and I think getting a little turned around here. Hopefully he has a map up of this dark maze, or he's just going to, looks like, to reset the room actually. I hope he
Yeah,
doesn't
this
leave
is
the
gonna
room
be
because he
rough.
doesn't have any more magic. And must not be
And
holding the direction that he's meaning to go. Oh,
yeah,
quick use of the hook shot to get iframes there. Very nice.
yeah, the thing about the rail maze is that you don't need to hit, like, as a kid playing this game, I thought you had to hit the D-pad at precisely the moment that you're on the little places where you change directions. As it turns out, you don't. You just need to hold the direction until you get to that node, and then you can
Yeah.
switch directions, which makes a huge difference on how easy or difficult this room becomes.
Dr. Earworm taking a little chill right there. Maybe they're wondering where to go. Now they have found Ganon's Tower. They're probably not super interested in going there until they maybe have boots or something like that. Unfortunately, boots are actually in that dungeon.
Yeah, that is where they need to go. As for IPBJ, I'm not sure where they need to go because we're still looking for a moon pearl, and we're starting to run out of places where that moon pearl can be.
Yeah, and the Longshots have not found a shop that sells the quiver yet. Oh, PTM did take a death. Will not get that fourth chest. So the only shop we've seen that has that quiver that sells arrows is in Paradox Cave,
Yeah,
which is a little unusual. As both of us today learned that actually is
that,
possible.
yeah, we did not know that.
but,
Would be
but
nice. Yeah, I mean, it's not, if they start getting desperate, I could see one of them thinking, "Hey, maybe we should try this." But yeah, it's just literally not something that's ever come up in a race that I've been involved in as a player or as a commentator. And I've
yeah,
played a lot of these seeds, so it's kind of
I feel
funny
like
that it came up today.
yeah, I feel like I've checked it before, but I've never actually seen it. We'll see. PTM came in here from the light world, so if he gets bunny beamed, it won't be a problem.
That's
And
correct.
then we're going to be paying attention to the jaws of the screen to see um, if the big chest in Ice Palace has anything fun for us today. And our lava chest check, which is new to us, is just a compass for swamp.
All right, where are we headed now? Let's see. Dr. Earworm is still looking at entrances. Where is GT located? I actually don't know.
Yeah, that's a great question. Was it on the mountain somewhere? Because I felt like nobody was on the mountain for a while, and then once
Hmm.
somebody went there, we did find the bow, uh, which was in Hope Room.
Oh,
And
we're
PTM,
checking out a dark connector. I don't know if this connector is, yeah, okay. So this is part of the Fairy Ascension. This looks like the descent, not Fairy Ascension, just the
Death
Mountain
Mountain
Ascension. Yeah, just the plain Death Mount
descent.
one. And that's the descent side because you can see he's just going up diagonally. So this is one of the harder connector dark rooms. I don't even bother with this one honestly because most of the time you just see it from both sides anyway, and you just okay. I've seen enough dark rooms. I know I don't have to worry about that one. But they may be to the point where it's like okay, we're missing something, so let's just sequence break
Yeah,
this lamp.
connectors often lead to a lot of progression in cross keys here,
Hmm.
or cross world entrance modes. I guess Jaws did not hit the switch, so it has to do this the other way that spends an extra
Ooh,
key. Oh, did it?
Bunny
Was
in
it a dead end?
jail. Yeah, it was the Hammer House
That's
in Village
unfortunate.
Outcast, which really doesn't help at all.
So that big chest in Ice Palace had the $20 today, so nothing today. But I did see there
Mhm.
was a moon pearl in Sea House, or excuse me, that was the brewery interior over here on Desert. So there must have been a connector
Ooh,
that got PTM to
yeah.
the Desert North entrance, but it was an exit today. That's very interesting.
Oh, we went to the top of Turtle Rock. So it looks like what you gotta do is you gotta go to GT, get your boots, so you can get your cane on the torch, so you can follow Turtle Rock to the front to that exit, and then get your moon pearl at Desert. That is a nasty
That's pretty
chain,
bad.
and the long
Jaws,
shots have not even started that chain. That is not good.
yeah, they have not. Jaws
And
thought he could do a little spin there, but you cannot spin, as you were saying, when you have the Cane of Burna activated.
right. Okay, I'm gonna go out of my way because I see a what logic? No, you no, no. That is one of my biggest pet peeves is when people say, "Oh, we ignore logic. What logic? Who cares about logic?" No, you have to care about logic. You don't
Yes,
necessarily have to follow logic. Those are very, very different concepts. Following logic, no, you don't have to do that. But sorry, you can break logic, but if you got to understand what you're breaking and when you're breaking it, because if you don't, you could miss a key step that you're never going to get back to because you've decided to ignore the logic. So it's So this chain that the long shots are missing is pretty important, and we see Tyler Salt back in Ice Palace, hoping to find whatever Dr. Earworm missed, and it's just not going to be here.
Yeah, that they did get the hammer and the hook shot, so that's usually in entrance modes. Big sign to go to left side Ganon's tower. Unfortunately,
Yep.
they have forgotten or do not want to go back there. And
They may again, like you said, they might just be waiting for sorry, the boots, because they know the cane is there. But
right,
at some point, you just got to say, I just got to do it anyway. And it's not unusual. It's not unusual at all to for GT to have something on the torch with the boots in the dungeon. Like, I definitely have seen that play out before.
and
But yeah.
just to defend Carolyn in chat there, she said what logic, but really meant, oh God, what logic? That's so bad. How could it do that to us?
Apologies to Carolyn in chat.
But
Then
but
yeah,
everyone seems to
but
agree that staying in logic is always a good idea,
I mean, yeah. Well, you
or at
don't
least
again.
aware of it. Aware of it.
Yeah, again, you don't have to stay in logic, but you do have to understand what the logic does. Um,
Yeah, we could have like let's say fire rod go mode, and then we're trying to sequence break the right side of GT, and of course the fire rod won't be there because you need the fire
right.
rod to get those checks. You have to be aware of things like that. At least in this mode, the small key logic isn't as big of thing, and Jaws.
That's where you can say what logic, right? Because there is no small key logic.
Yeah,
There's
that's
just
true.
you got an infinite number of small keys. It kind of messes with your head a little bit, like Ice Palace. The key logic in Ice Palace, which is actually easier in Key Sandy than it is in not Key Sandy, but in Entrance, that right side of Ice Palace, in Cross Keys is never in logic without the hook shot until you have universal small keys, and then it's just in logic because you have all the small keys. You can't use your small keys in a bad way. Okay, now Tower Slot into the Cold Stare fight.
Yeah, round two. I don't know if he got any safeties, but playing it a little
He got
safer.
he did get extra hearts. He went and got the hearts in back of escape.
Very good idea. Especially gets that blue cane too, in case there's any other tough boss fights that come up after this.
Oof.
Oh, down to one heart.
We have a B. B is not going to help us.
Carefully dodging those icicles that fall from the sky. Oh, almost hit that one.
And
And if you're
switching to the sword, which you can see where it double hits, but the fighter sword damage on spins is just so much less than the hammer that it's
yeah,
not as great. And we see Dr. Earworm falling into Ice Palace, and this is just not the right answer. And they're gonna get that
mm,
big key, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, do I have to go back in to get the big chest?" We do finish off the fight here for Tyler Sock. Does get the 20 rupees, and not the Moon Pearl like he was hoping for.
yeah. I wonder if Doc just leaves then, because there's nothing in Ice Palace.
No,
And
there is no reason for Dr. Earworm to do this right now. In fact, he should leave because they don't know that the big chest has nothing, and you really want to you'd want him to come back with the big key just in case.
yeah, that'd be great incentive. Meanwhile, second sword has been found in Vanilla Big Key Chest in Skull Woods. Those are some of the entrances that aren't randomized anywhere. They're kind of randomized with each other, because why would you want to be in any part of Skull Woods in some other
Yeah,
part of the world?
there are other versions of randomizers, in particular in Sandy entrance and some of the door randomizations. I think will do where the drop downs get randomized with all together, so you can drop down from anywhere and end up in Skullwoods. And it kind of sucks because you just keep ending up in Skullwoods all the time, and it's horrible. So I'm glad that is not how this works. But yeah, I am really surprised that Dr. Earworm is staying in Ice Palace. There's nothing here for him to get other than to leave that big chest behind, and it's again going to be a tough fight. You can just do it at the end with maybe a tempered sword or a gold sword and all the things in the world you could possibly want. A fire rod
Yeah.
even.
I
So
guess it was a crystal, because otherwise he would definitely, if it was
yeah,
an
it
eliminate.
was a crystal. So, it's there. I guess it's just let's just get the crystal done. But I just think, you're still looking for a moon pearl. Uh, that should be more of a priority, and you can get a much faster ice palace later.
Yeah, they clearly are looking for something to do, so this also gives them time to think. But they should know where Ganon's tower is. They have the bow.
They've been there.
Yeah, they've
They
been there.
Yeah, the bow isn't even required. Like you just, the bow is nice for Armos Knights, but as we saw in Ice Armos, saving that money anyway. Yeah, it's just, man, Doctor Doom was even opening some of these chests. I thought they saw all these things.
Yeah, Tyler's also retreading some ground here as we see South Kakariko. So they might have think that they mismarked or lost something. I'm wondering if they
Yeah,
maybe they think Ganon's tower is not in logic. Maybe they think they don't have enough small keys or something. Clearly,
I don't know.
something has gone wrong there, which is unfortunate.
In the meantime, yeah, and in the meantime, IPBJ has access to like most of the world now. Now that they've got that Moon Pearl.
Sort of like where do you go when you actually get normal Dark World
Yeah.
entrance? We found Hammer and Glove before Moon Pearl, and I
Yep.
believe both were actually required in this case before the Moon Pearl showed up.
Yep.
So you're kind of used to in entrance mode saying, well, I have to go over here and get my progression, and then I move to this area. And here it's like, well, you can get everything that's not locked behind mitts, and that's
Yeah.
not honestly a lot when we have the different interiors in some of these entrances. We could
Yeah,
have all of our dungeons here.
Me personally, I like it better when the Dark World opens up little bit by little bit instead of everything at once, so that you can kind of have a better idea of what you need to do. But yeah, this is just everything open,
Yeah, we're
everything
even getting
available.
Pod here and PTM filling up the with the ferry here in Hookshot Camp.
Well, and the other bad thing is we don't have a mirror, so we're going to be leaving all the mirror spots behind. Just to make things worse. And we find Castle Tower. I I would probably get the items out of here. Because the maze is not too bad a dark room.
Yeah, and
But
this one doesn't even need the lamp, to be honest.
right, I wouldn't finish this for the big key. Just because
Mm,
it's, well, again, you're on fighter sword. Well, at least Jossum Sauce is on fighter sword, so it's slow. You don't know for sure that you're going to need that big key, and the second big dark room. So the first big dark room is just essentially another pod dark maze, because you can. And it does have torches if you have fire rod, but it's pretty easy to just look at a map and find your way to the chest. But if you want to go to the next room, um, there's a lot of holes there, and there's a lot of falling that happens if you're trying to do it in the dark.
yeah. The one thing I like to do in that dark room is use the Samaria block to kind of when
Mm-hmm.
that gets pushed off, I know I've reached the edge.
Yep.
And Jaws does have Blue Cane and Half Magic. I don't think any refills now, but um, at least they know where this is. And you know what? We don't need to beat Aga Tower to get a big key. We just get it in Aga Tower. That's the Ganis Tower
Nice.
big
Yeah,
key.
just the big key you wanted to find there. At least you can say, well, I mean, I don't have magic. I don't have fire anyway, so I can't even use it until I get a lamp, logically. So that's when you kind of
Yeah,
use logic to your advantage. It's like, well, I don't need to. Well, it's not in logic until I get the lamp anyway, so I'll just wait because I don't really
yeah.
want to do it.
PTM also finding another shop that sells arrows and
Hmm.
keys, as
You
well
found this
as
sword somewhere. I see
yeah,
that sword is now orange. So
that was right here in VOO as well. There was a the old man that has the free sword sitting
right.
there for you. It's dangerous to go alone.
Yep.
Take a tempered sword. Take an upgrade.
Yeah, so there are only two swords in the general pool in Retrance, which is kind of funny because you start with a sword, and then there's the Take Any sword, which you can find on the overworld somewhere, and then there's only two. So there's only two left to be in the general pool at that point, which is kind of weird, but that's the way it works.
Yeah, and chat talking about maybe they mismarked GT, but also maybe they think the hook shot is behind Moon Pearl. But we know you can bunny walk there.
Yeah, they did bunny
Um,
walk there. Like it's a open. item.
Oh no,
It's out in
and
there open. So
Tyler saw just walking backwards through Old Man Cave after they've already saved the old man. So
that's
this is
not
not
ideal.
good.
Oh, myths in the dam.
Oh, it would have been
Not
nice to have
really.
those, to have
Yeah,
the ability.
don't really like finding mitts. Mitts are, I'm very happy to go mitless in a cross keys or a cross entrance seed.
Yeah, now there's just more stuff to do. Jaws has to go route that in. Or
So
excuse me, Jaws
so
has it. So PTM has to route them in if there's anything there.
so Homemade Beer in chat asking if there are really no Sphere 1 arrow shops. Now we do have, I don't know if it's not quite Sphere 1, but we do have
Oh, it is because you
access.
can get to Paradox Cave.
Wasn't Paradox Cave on the mountain somewhere?
Yeah, but the flute and all. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's Sphere 1 or whatever, but
Yeah,
it's
I mean
definitely before the
it's a
Moon Pearl.
yeah, it's definitely a low sphere location. In Paradox Cave, we learned today the Paradox Cave can sell arrows in its shop, and as far as we can tell, there are no other arrow shops that we can get to. Oh, there's Half Magic. There are no other arrow shops we can get to without the Moon Pearl. We have not seen any other. So we learned today that not only can that have arrows in its shop, it's randomized with all the other shops. It can be required. Although we haven't
Yeah,
had a required bow thing yet. It just would be nice to have for like Armos Knights here for Dr. Earworm, for instance.
right. Both of them have Blue Cane and Half Magic. At least Tyler has gotten that because Hammer and Fighter Sword are not fun things to use. But at least they're in GT now. Um, yeah, and so they have both of those have guys have Ice Palace beaten, which IPBJ is going to have to go back to do.
Yep,
Jaws
that's
did
right.
take a death on Cold Stare, so a little bit of a time loss on his end. And PTM going right for that dam, going to get the items and open up the
Yeah,
the
there's
floodgate
still,
there.
I mean, there's definitely an advantage on IPBJ's side for having gotten this Moon Pearl a lot earlier, but there's still a lot of game to be played. There's a lot of
Absolutely.
things that can happen, and it is an entrance mode. So, it's not uncommon to be gold minus something dumb, and that something dumb can just be in a dumb spot, a dumb item in a dumb spot that'll change who wins a race.
And we get our connector to Dark Turtle Rock Bridge, and that's Bumper Cave. And I know Jaws found the other Bumper Cave
Yeah,
entrance.
then you don't need
So
to go through it.
yeah, it does not need to use the hook shot. You can actually use the hook shot on that side if you're
You
never
can be, and that's another gotcha in cross keys. You can be hard required or an entrance. You can be hard required to use the hook shot to go through that, whatever
yeah.
the bumper thing. Um, and yeah, I can get, the cross keys and entrance modes, they have your gotchas. And uh, we learned one today, so.
Yeah. Every time I play an entrance seed, I learn something or find some weird thing I'd never seen before. But they're definitely gonna have to mark that down because that was from the um, Fairy Ascension Cave entrance in the Light World.
Mhm.
So there's the mitts to get to that. So that's going to be useful connector when we get the mirror and can get up there to the Turtle Rock Bridge. And we
All
see
right,
that blue cane coming in handy.
we're gonna have dueling blue canes going.
Now we'll see which one of these guys runs out through the big chest room and which one takes a death warp to go to the big to the Samaria on the torch that way. Oh, and we found Palace of Darkness.
Oh, baby.
We have the Palace of Darkness key, but no fire sources yet.
We have 5 keys to do this with on PTM side. And a lamp.
Okay.
Okay, well, I mean, I'd be normally behind 6 small keys, but this is Retrons, so we have all the small keys in the world, so it's just behind nothing. Just behind finding it.
Interesting that Jaws is going all the way into the back of Zelda's cell here in front of Escape because that's a Desert Palace big and Desert's appended, so we might not actually need that.
Yeah, I might have waited on that.
He might have run out of things to do that weren't a useful use of his time, or maybe he was just in the area. Maybe he wants to take the castle connector to somewhere more fruitful. Now Longshots with their boots, with their Samaria, well, hammer and hookshot, they are on their
Now,
way to finding some more stuff, but hopefully they find that moon pearl real quick.
yeah, they need to get to Turtle Rock and follow that to the front entrance, where the which will take them to desert area, which will take them to the cave that has the moon pearl. So there's still a bit of the chain that they haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah, that's particularly interesting. Now, the big chest entrance for Turtle Rock is here in Kakariko. It is the chess game in the south part near the library.
Yeah, I like the Turtle Rock East entrance in general better if I have a way to get across it. And yeah, we see Dr. Irwin going back into Ice Palace for that big chest, and this is one of the things I was worried about. And one again, the reason is they're both going in for this. See,
Oh
I don't.
no, they must just be assuming that this is their last location and not thinking of Turtle Rock
Oh
as a
yeah, this
connector.
is, and this is again, this is why I said earlier when Taro, I think believe was the first to finish this. Why I thought Dr. Iram should have waited on this in case the big key showed up, because then he just has to do it anyway with that big key and can
Yeah.
check it for free. And now they're both in the same dungeon, going to the same spot. This nothing, and that's never a good sign in any kind of co-op mode.
Yeah, and they were both in GT left side. You know, we had our dueling some Berna strats.
Yep.
PTM, by the way, already to the back of Palace of Darkness fighting Helmasaur.
Yeah, I'm guessing he decided to do this first. I tend to like this, especially without a mirror, because death warping out of the back of Pod is a pain. And we're at Gold Sword. There must have been a sword in here too. Jeez,
Wow, I was saying
how
that's
quickly,
going
how
to be hard
quickly the
to get the bow up there with very limited arrows, but does not need to use the bow.
nope.
And is it a crystal or is it a pendant? It's 20 rupees first, and then it is one of our crystals today.
Yeah. All right, so Dr.
Oh,
Irwin's
and
gonna be the first to this big chest, and now I guess they're gonna be confused because
yeah, Tyler saving and quitting here.
there's nothing left in this dungeon. And Dr. Irwin's taking a death warp. The freezer will kill you very quickly, so
And Jaws reminding us all that even in Retrance, that is a guaranteed small key in
yep.
Skullwood's pinball
Thank
room.
goodness that I hope they never change that because
Yeah, that's a
that
good
not
feature.
being not being a guaranteed small key is horrible. Actually, I think there are some modes in some of the other branches where it doesn't end up being a guaranteed small key, and then you're very sad if you fall in there and you don't have a small key because you're just stuck.
Yeah, there's some other branches out there that aren't the main developers branch where that's a gotcha in those modes.
Yep.
Jaws still on that fighter sword though. I think gonna try and find um, that
I
entrance that
think
has the
I think there are two
master
of
sword,
them.
but
Yeah,
no.
two of them right in this area.
Well, one was in Skull Woods, and I think it might have been a bad entrance or something.
Mm,
Maybe he needed to use the drop down, but the other one was right here, I think, in the
yeah.
Sea
Yep.
House entrance.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe it's just gonna skip the Skullwoods one and grab the one that's somewhere in Pod.
And don't look now, but Dr. Earworm is going north or going
Yeah,
upstairs
we're
in
both
Turtle Rock.
runners. Yeah, I mean, they can't have much left. They're both in Ice Palace going after that big chest at the same time, so it makes sense that they're now both in here. But yeah, this is just not ideal when you're constantly doing the same things to get through. It wouldn't surprise me if one of them rushes the exit and the other one does the checks.
Okay, get a nice small key in the pod big chest. So don't ever tell me there's not a small key in the Dark Maze and pod.
And there you go.
It's in the vanilla game. There is one there,
Yep.
but not here. And oh, look, we found the mirror as well.
Yeah, I mean everything's starting to fall to IPBJ right now, as their checks are, as they're getting all the locations available. We still need flippers as we're seeing Jossum Sauce go for a kern jump.
Yeah, I'd like to see him. I think it might be messed up with the Armos fight, but maybe he can do a splash delete with those arrows and bombs. He's gonna stick with that current jump a little bit too high, I think, there.
Yeah, I mean, the other option is to do a water walk, or you just, I mean, we have access. We
Wow,
have
that was
access
really
to
high
the
and it
rest.
still worked.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of these kind of tricks have multiple pixels where they work. It's just, setting them up becomes a little bit easier in certain places. And Tyler saw about to find that moon pearl,
Oh, but
and there it is.
and Doc also has retrieved that.
Everybody has a. We're at moon pearl percent. Yay!
Nice.
1 hour and 8 minutes in. Only took an hour and 8 minutes.
Nice splash delete from PTM, and then we find out it's a cave we want. So go outside, get your water walk state, and go back in. Just as simple as that, as developer intended.
A very unlikely needed ether medallion, but no, in fact, we are definitely not needing an ether medallion today. As both our medallion entrances today are bombos, and the odds that we'll even need those entrances are not really high anyway. But yeah, definitely some catch up time for the long shots.
And
Not, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, no, I would have done Spike Cave there if I were Tyler. Uh, but on the other hand, maybe you're thinking if this is this is a spot they've already checked and it's slow anyway, so maybe not. Oh, Misery Mire here. I don't know that we saw this over on IPBJ side, so Tyler Shot's gonna go
yeah,
ahead
we
and dig it.
we did, but they didn't have fire, so I don't think they wanted to go in.
Well, there's still four items you can get here, so I do like this call by Tyler to go in here. And we're going to get PTM into Ice Palace now. With Gold Sword, this will be very easy. A Gold Sword Cold Stare fight, much easier than a Fighter Sword Cold Stare fight.
Absolutely. So Tyler, with that small key that we do have in veterans, because they're all universal, gonna flip this switch first, and no big key for Midri Martha. Like you said, there are 4 checks we can get here. And there's another key as well. Can we get the rail clip to a frame up? And then there we go. Nice job.
Yeah, and I like that. I like this choice from Tyler to do the spike floor last, because then you can just let it kill you after you open the chest.
Is he going to be able to get
Oh, flippers.
yeah, there we go. We have the,
Oh, he didn't leave it to last. He's got the bridge chest. I'm
that's the name of it. Thank you.
yeah. I'd rather do. I like to do that spike chest last because that way I just stay on that floor and die. But those flippers, yeah. I mean, they have the lamp now on IPBJ side, so they can come
Oh,
back and get 6 items they want. But
yeah, that those flippers are going to be tricky. Tyler tried to do the death warp, but that last chest got him the heart refill.
oh
So very
god.
unfortunate. And
See,
Mr.
another
Myers,
reason if you do the bridge first, then you can just stay on those spikes and they'll give you a death warp.
it was all perfect till he was on half a heart. Mr. Meyer is a pendant today. It looks like Doctor Earworm has that tracked as a pendant. As does Jawsome Sauce.
Okay, so if it is a pendant, then that's I even like the play to go in there for the 4 checks without the ability to clear it even better. And as it turns out, there was an important item there, so it is
Yeah.
required. We do need that. We do need the flippers today for Swamp Palace.
Mystery
There's
Mire, surprisingly, a very efficient check in key sanity modes,
it really
where
is.
there are more than 2 items in the dungeon.
I also do wonder if when one of Tyler Salt or Dr. Earworm finds Castle Tower, especially if they already have that lamp, if we'll see one of them finish it in hopes that big key is required, and in hopes that their opponents are going to skip it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it could be. I know we saw the Skull Woods one. I don't know if we
I
found
mean, looks like we
Era
need.
and Swamp. So
Yeah, Meyer, Thieves Town would be the 2 of the ones you don't want. Obviously, swamp, another one you don't want unless there's, these are all unless there's something in those particular big chests. Nice blue refill on the fairy cave there. Always nice when that happens. And
And it's
okay, for a moment there, I was thinking that the Power Tomorrow hadn't looked that IPBJ hadn't seen it, but it looks like it's this cave that he wants. Yeah, we're gonna do back a desert.
with that fire source, we can beat this dungeon
Yep.
and get
And
crystal.
with the gold sword, we can do it pretty efficiently, even though we don't have any of the weapons you would normally want, like a fire rod or a silver arrows or something.
Well, we do have uh, that great item in the Cane of Burna that could always be used.
Yep, we sure do. Tower saw finding Castle Tower. We'll see if he tries to go further than the first two items here.
And meanwhile, Longshots have not found a quiver shop yet. So
No, they
we
should
hope,
soon. There were a couple I thought in Village Outcast, so Dr. Irwin's going to find
yeah,
one over here.
that will be good news for them.
I mean, they do need to get arrows at some point because both Pod and Eastern are crystals, and both of those locations in Pod always hard requires a bow because of the Igor statue. Eastern, unless it's Randomizer in particular, will require a bow because you need to kill the Igors there. Um, it's I don't know if it's a shame or not. The fact that if the mimics and the Igors were flipped in those two dungeons, then maybe you could mimic clip through Eastern and not need it. But that's not how it works. Looks like Tyler saw. I'm not sure if he was trying to death warp and forgot he had a fairy. No, or if he was going to
Looks like
continue
it.
on. But at this point, he's just going to save and quit.
Meanwhile, we did not use Burna. We used Cane of Samaria to beat Land Molest and Backup Desert, and it turned out that was the Ice Rod for PTM.
No, we need that too. So that desert big key required. Oh boy.
Yeah, well, it's a crystal too, so that's also a
Oh,
reason it's
desert is a
required.
crystal. Okay. Desert is a crystal. Okay, Skullwood, Thieves Town, Misery Mire. I think we at one point thought desert was a pendant, but I guess it is clearly not. So then the ice rod is free. Now if the ice rod are sitting on a boss that you don't have to kill, that is very much not free.
Yeah. However, they do have to get the fire source, either the lamp or the fire rod, to actually beat Land Molest.
Yes.
And the lamp was in pod, as was a sword, as was the mirror. A lot of stuff in pod today. And now this is new information for us. Tyler Salt is going into Swamp Palace.
I like this. Um,
So we'll see if we get a nice retro strategy here. We can do Specky Clip and actually be key neutral in this dungeon instead of key negative.
yeah, I would grab the small key. And if you're inclined to do left side, I would grab the small key and I would do a diver down to grab the small key there too, just to have the extra small keys.
Absolutely. And we see Tyler getting 2 bombs from those pots there. They are very nicely placed right before the room where you need at least 1 bomb.
Yeah, he's skipping the key here. I wouldn't do that.
No, it takes about 7 seconds. I think that's worth it instead of buying it from a shop somewhere,
Yep.
which is going to take more than 7 seconds.
All right, Dr. Irm heading to get his flippers, knowing that he needs them.
Tyler's doing left side first.
Oh,
We found Hera.
We found Hera. Okay. That's another one of the big keys that big key could be, which would, technically not be required unless there's something in the chest. Big keys in this game are weird because there's 4 dungeons that don't have hard required big keys. 2 of those dungeons, Skullwoods and Swamp, the big key isn't even logically required. They're literally just for the chests that they open. And then the other 2, Ice Palace, the only way you'd hard require the big key for ice is if there's something in the chest. But logically, you still need it. And then Hera's the weird one because most of the time it's the same as Ice Palace, except every once in a while when the hookshot decides to be rude and hang out the top of Tower of Hera.
So it looked like Tyler's doing left side. He's definitely wasted a lot of time, more than the 7 seconds. So he was very interested in getting one of these keys. I think I would have done the first one.
If I were only getting one, I would get the first key and just
Yeah.
flood this one.
And
Getting
PT
both, I think, would be fine too.
yeah, PTM did beat Tower of Hera, and that did drop the Misery Mire big key. So
Not what you
if we're
really
gonna,
want to see, but that is now a
yeah,
full clear of a mire for for IPBJ.
yeah, interesting about that because that's out of logic. We don't have that Tower of Hera big key, so
Right.
probably going into Mire is not going to be as at least going to the back is not good. With the fire source and the big key now, they can get 7 checks in there. Maybe that's a good place for IPPJ to go when they're looking for, let's say,
I
maybe
mean,
the flippers.
they can, yeah, they can clear that dungeon. The two things behind the big key will be out of logic, but
Yeah.
you maybe don't beat the boss, but you would definitely open the big chest.
And Jaw is walking right by that entrance that is going to take him to the Dark World. I think with the mirror in hand, you might want to check those entrances. Maybe they're not in entrance mode at this point, though. And he could just get back there with the mitts at some point
Mhm.
because that Fairy Ascension Cave entrance leads to the Turtle Rock Bridge in the Dark World. We talked
Hi,
about that
Saha.
earlier. Very nice. And we already know what the green pendant, or at least the pendants are. Maybe we don't know the green one.
I don't know what the green. I don't. Yeah, there it is. Skullwoods is green. Okay.
Skullwood's green pendant. Okay, and Mario just making sure that he that he was correct there.
All right. Yeah. So we got Tower Salt in the back of Swamp. When Dr. Earworm does this, we'll probably just go straight to the back because I don't believe there was anything on that left side. One less thing that they have to worry about.
Okay, diver down. Piece of heart, $5. So
Yeah,
if that
given that we're a fire rod from no mode, there's not likely to be anything back here, but that fire rod could still be here. It's like
oh,
Dr.
absolutely.
Earworm is heading towards Catfish.
Don't
Get
know if
hammer
Catfish was
pegs.
checked on PTM and Jaws' side.
It might have been.
I know
It
Jaws
might have
didn't do
been.
it, but um, must have maybe PTM did it before Pod. I don't think you can get there that way. PTM, you got to go around the long way. Tyler in one of our new checks now. He is fighting Argus back of Swamp Palace. Is this going to be our fire rod or some other piece of progression?
Now we're gonna do it with fighter sword spins. Doing a very nice job of it. Mostly has been getting doubles, which is not easy. And we have no good weapons to finish this fight off. No rods, no silver. So I guess
Or
we do
hammer hits?
spins. Yeah, hammer hits and or spins. I think it's gonna be 8 spins if we
This
do
is
it
8
this way.
spins. Yeah, it's 4 hammer
Yeah.
hits, I think. It's like he heard us.
Yeah.
uh, 10
There.
minutes
Oh, wait.
in the past.
Maybe it's even. He ended up doing 4 hammer hits anyway after 2 sword spins, so it might actually be 16 fighter sword spins.
Oh gosh.
If that's the case, yikes.
Love to see Jossum Sauce saving the old man at 122 in a co-op when they have plenty of other stuff to do.
I know, right?
This might be a case. Maybe they don't know where Mizurmeyer is. Maybe they've checked everything, but this is kind of early in a co-op mode to have not checked everything at this point, or to have checked everything. I don't think they'd
Yep.
be out of options.
Okay, so we have Dr. Earworm in pod, which is where the long shots need to be.
Absolutely. I think PTM has designs to beat Aga Tower at this point and then go up to that lumberjack item.
Yep, I think so. It's looking increasingly likely that big key is just not going to be required, though.
Oh, and I hope he remembers to grab the Ganon's Tower big key out of here in case either of the IPBJ teammates want to climb that. And it turns out there is something up there, which could be possible. Tyler Salt has found that quiver shop, does buy the arrows. Oh, and PTM is just left, is not climbing. I don't know if I agree with that, knowing that there's a big key
I wonder if
locked
he's
behind.
I wonder if he's going to climb GT. But yeah, I would definitely have gone for that big key. Again, it's looking less and less like it's a required big key, but going just for the GT big key, I would rather send my teammate who already has the GT big key on that climb, and I would do something else.
Yeah, and Jaws seems to be at a loss of what to do. I think he was the one that found Misery Mire, so we'll see if he remembers that that exists. However, he's not the one with the big key. So again, he has the Gannis Tower big key, would be a good candidate to climb, and PTM with that Misery Mire
Yeah.
big key would be the candidate to go
Yep.
into Misery Mire.
Exactly. What big key? I mean, none of them. Humbug asking what big key would be hard required, but like it's a fetch quest essentially. It's powder, it's mushroom, it's shovel.
Oh, do we
Because
have all the big keys? But theoretically,
yeah,
that the big
look
key could
at
lead to Fire Rod, right?
yeah, exactly. So it would be the Thieves Town big key, this and the Hera big key are the only ones
Right.
left, right? That's what I'm looking at on Tyler
Yeah.
Salt's in particular. So that big key is, so it's like if it's say a Thieves Town big key, just as a for instance, well that opens 4 items. GT climb is 4 items plus. I don't know what's behind Aga 2. Does anybody know what's behind Aga 2?
I think it's going to be the well, because I don't think we've seen the 5 item cave well
Oh,
drop
okay.
down.
So this is
Yeah,
a 9 item play. So it's a little bit
absolutely.
better than we were thinking, but still, I would have sent the person that already had the key.
Yeah, yeah. They might have forgotten where the Misery Mire entrance is, well, which happens when you get a bunch of stuff to do.
Yeah.
With that knowledge now that they have all the big keys for all the crystals, I do like the um, idea to leave Agatar a little bit more, but it's
Yeah.
like a 2 minute time investment from that room. Now you got to invest the time to go back to pod and reclimb all those rooms. Um, so there's that lamp for Tyler Salt. And meanwhile, Longshots, Dr. Earworm has defeated Helmasaur King. And if you like A Link to the Past Randomizer and you like the league playoffs, I've got good news for you. The
Hey,
rest of
right
this
here.
day is, yeah, do not change that dial, because we've got the second game of a triple header coming up at the conclusion of this match at about 5:10 p.m. It's going to be another Open League playoffs. It's Team Tactical Nepsis versus Clown College. That's also game 2. It's all dungeons. And then at 7:10, still here, same mode as this. Also game 2, Retrants, Past the Picanha versus Cowardly Dodgers. Both game 2s coming up after this. So stay tuned. Grab some food, grab some drink. It's going to be a great day.
And Jossum Sauce showing why this is a better fight with a tempered sword.
It's still no gold, but it's still good. And Torch is 1, so we're about a minute away from finding out what's the 4 items up here at the top of Ganon's Tower. Ganon's Tower had a lot of good stuff for us today, because we had Boots, Samaria, there was Blue Cane, and that
Yeah,
kind of led to the Moon Pearl. So
the chain to the Moon Pearl was particularly nasty this seed, as the runners had to get items, get the hammer out of a connector over at Race Game, and the hook shot, which was behind the Spec Rock connector, where you had to take the Spec Rock connector to the Misery Mire area from the front, and then you had to in the Misery Mire area you found the other Spec Rock connector to the back to get the hook shot, and then you had to go into GT to get your boots, to get your cane on the torch, and then you had to take that cane into Turtle Rock and go to the front entrance, which spit you out over in the desert area where the Moon Pearl was in the other entrance. So the
Yeah.
chain here was, I would call that a pretty epic chain
Yeah.
to get the Moon Pearl, which, it happens in entrance mode sometimes.
That's a pretty epic one. It was like, what, 50 minutes? And don't forget, you had to get your glove out of Paradox Cave in another entrance up on the mountain
Yep. Mm-hmm.
in order to actually get that Moon Pearl. Okay, PTM did not get anything at the top of Ganon's Tower, but I believe it is 5 items in
If
the
it is, I mean, it's
waterfall or
got to be
pyramid.
something. I mean, it's obviously something. Otherwise, you don't do this fight. So, like, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't recall seeing the well. So I'm gonna go with you and say it's probably the well.
I mean, they need the flippers and the fire rod. We know where the
Yes.
flippers are. They might have forgotten about the Mire entrance, or just thinking pendants are bad, crystals are good. Let's not do any pendant
I
dungeons.
mean, GT is a pendant dungeon, though.
No, it's the
For all
most
intents and
most pendant of all pendant
yeah.
dungeons.
Unless Ganon's hanging out in his vanilla location. All right,
Yeah,
Tyler
so
Shaw, in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and clean up Eastern while Dr. Irwin finds Hera, so we'll get to see that dungeon. Heart piece. Is the fire rod here? Yes, yes, it is. So and it required GT climb. That is not go mode. That is no mode for us as viewers. But that is not go mode.
yeah, that's very interesting for them, because that opens up, that back of Skull Woods entrance that
Yep.
actually opens up Mothula as a pendant, green pendant
Yep, it
boss
sure
to be.
does.
Does not open up anything in Misery Mire that they don't already have access to. So a flipper
Right.
go mode is not that great. I wouldn't say Fire Rod at the top of GT go mode is great either, but at least I believe that's kind of a better go mode for the long shots if they kind of
Yeah.
follow the same path.
So the problem with the flippers go mode for IPBJ is that there's no evidence that they have recall, or either they don't know that the Misery Mire is there, or they don't recall that Misery Mire is there. I mean, it's an 8-item location between, even though it's not completely in logic. The fact that they haven't gone there yet is a bit worrisome. Whereas a GT climb is kind of one of those things that you just don't want to do, and you often leave. And when you finally, finally you'll say, well, this is still better, especially when it's 7 items than anything else. I think it's easier to get back to that. Now, IPBJ has time. Like, they still have a pretty decent crystal lead.
They sure do, and I think maybe PTM on the mountain might go into Ganon's tower right side, check the big chest.
Yep.
That's going to eat up some time as well.
For him, flippers could be there. He's going to do Turtle Rock first, so this makes sense.
Oh yeah, I mean GT in this seat is so easy to get to with their flute and everything. So
Yep.
go do the crystal dungeons that you have to do first.
Yep.
But they are the first ones to both rods, so they're quite a bit ahead on that regard.
But there is a world in which IPBJ just doesn't get to Misery Mire, while the long shots will slowly whittle it down. And I just feel like they're going to get to this climb first. And in fact, Tyler Shot's climbing right now, so they're going to be most likely the first of these teams in go mode. Although somebody still needs to do desert on their team to get that ice rod.
Yeah, with the fire rod soon, and of course they both have the lamp now that will hopefully be on their list of things to do.
Yeah, it makes sense that eventually, I imagine Dr. Earworm will clear some dungeons while Tyler Sott's climbing. Flippers are in Misery Mire in which chest were they in? It wasn't even. It's not even
That
behind
was
anything.
the spike chest, the one we were supposed to end on.
Yeah, the one that I like to end on. Yep.
I guess theoretically that will be when they go into Mire, the last check that IPBJ will do in Mire, because they will be in go mode. They will leave immediately.
Yep. No matter which one they pick it as, in terms of what order, it will be the last one. Silver's in Hera Basement is interesting.
Okay, I was going to say maybe they check one more in Meyer for silvers, but now they definitely will not. Jaws has to beat this for the crystal anyway.
So whatever that big key sitting on the lumberjack is definitely not going to be required. It
Yeah,
might
and
be
there's,
logically required if it's the Hera big key, but it's definitely not hard required.
I would have to imagine it's Hera, or at least the Hera big. Maybe it's Thieves Town big or something. But we're definitely not going to have to do that today. So, of course, I have been proven wrong by saying they should have stayed in
Uh,
Agatar.
I mean, the long shots are never going to do the Aga Tower play.
Yeah,
But I could definitely see IPBJ going after that big key in hopes that it's the fetch quest answer.
yeah. And Johnson Sauce has gotten that Misery Meyer big key. Maybe that reminds him. I think I saw Misery Meyer. Maybe he
Are we
checks his
heading that way
VOD.
now? No, no. I think it's the Bonk Rocks over here, right? The Darkling's House Bonk Rocks.
That sounds right. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
checking
he's
Pyramid Lich
going
now.
away from there. Yeah, so the long shots are just need one of them needs to do desert, and they will be in go mode once that happens. Plus, Tyler Sop finishes up the climb.
Okay, there goes Jaws to that Flute 4 portal. Maybe this is him saying, I think I saw Misery Meyer somewhere. PTM going, oh, right, we didn't check these on the top of the castle. This is a little unfortunate that we didn't do
Yeah,
this before dropping down.
yeah.
Now is Jaws also following him? You gonna do that? Looks like he's going over to that Donk Rocks spot.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one that's already been in there. Okay, now, yeah, there we go. Now into Meyer for Jossum Sauce. This is what IPBJ needs to keep this lead, is to get these flippers. Now having fire, this may the spike chest may not be gotten to for a while, but
Yeah,
at
I
this
would say
point, I
if
don't
you're
think
in,
I think this
you're
is going to do it. And I don't the outs are gone for the long shots, especially since neither one of them has done desert yet to get that ice rod that they need.
yeah, if I'm in here and I'm go -1, I do not do cutscene first.
No, me neither.
I might have done compass
I
first,
might
but
have done compass, but yeah, the cutscene is really slow. Get an extra key for your troubles. Nothing wrong with that.
and we do see PTM in Green Pendant Skullwood's going to beat. Now needs to also be careful about keys here. So we're got to kill this mummy here to get this key to actually get in the back here, and he's got enough rupees to buy some keys if he needs them for the dungeons he needs to complete um, before defeating Ganon. If they can remember where those shops are, or maybe Moth will be nice and just drop a small key.
No, Jocelyn Sauce says it disagrees with us. It's going to go ahead and do this cutscene. Nice. Even if even if it's the seventh chest that he checks, though, I don't think it's going to be enough time for a long shot to do everything that they need to do. Even though
Yeah.
just one of them needs to go to desert and finish that up to get them into go mode.
This might be the most efficient way to full clear the dungeon, but the math changes a little bit when you're only looking for one
Yeah,
item and you don't
yeah,
need
no,
to
I
full
totally
clear
agree.
it.
You want to do it the most efficient full clear when you're looking for like 3 or 4 items. When you're looking for one item, then I sacrifice that efficiency in hopes that the answer is an easy, quick answer.
Just doing my math, the PTM needs the one small key to get into the front of Swamp Palace. There is no free small key before that because the items are randomized in the
Yep.
chests. And then there are enough keys to get through. He's going to have to actually spend the time
Yeah.
to get them, but
I
it's
mean
really not that bad in a go mode to do that.
Swamp Palace has exactly one small key in a in a chest, and that's that first
Yeah.
chest in vanilla. So so you need one key for that, and everything else. Let's see. Yeah, that's the only key he's gonna need. And he's
And
going to be headed over to Misery Mire very shortly because Jocelyn Sauce is about to open up this chest There is the flippers at just under 138. IPBJ is in go mode.
Yeah. Jaws not leaving. He's staying on his menu. The good news is that chest is right next to a small key. Maybe PTM will think about grabbing
Yeah,
that small
grabbing that
key.
small key would be really smart. Now, the long shots are about to be in go mode too. Unfortunately, Longshots going to decide to wait on the drop down. Is going to do it now. We'll get the fire rod. Dr. Irwin was about to get the ice rod. That's actually kind of funny. They're going to get the two rods for go mode right back to back here. But I just think there's just too much left to do for them. They have to finish. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 dungeons. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 dungeons left for the long shots, whereas IPBJ has 1, 2, 3 total. So half as many dungeons to clear on the long shots or on IPBJ's side.
Yeah, and both teams have one runner who needs to do the Ganon's Tower climb, which is going to eat up into the
Yes.
time. I
Yeah, I didn't even
wonder
count
if
that, but
we're
that's even.
gonna,
That evens out because they each have one, as you say. But yeah.
and we're still planning to bring the next game here, which starts in about 20 minutes. Maybe they'll be a little bit behind if we don't finish in time, because we do need both runners from one team to finish. And PTM does remember to grab that small key.
Yep.
So
Good
now
on
he
him.
has enough keys to get through Swamp Palace.
I mean, I think all they should all be done within 20 minutes. The go modes in entrance tend to go very quickly because you're just not opening anything. And it's the funny thing about looks like we maybe didn't get a crew for the 5:10 p.m. game because I'm seeing from one of our trackers, Arya Stark,
Oh, that's
there's no
unfortunate.
stream for that. That is unfortunate. Shout outs to Arya Stark and Plasma Snake for doing a great job tracking this chaos because that's what it
Yes,
is.
thank you. Well, that means we'll get a full interview in after, so you can stick around, and listen to. We'll have some questions for the runners, what they were thinking, what they mismarked, things like that, and and what they did well, because they did a lot of good stuff here. As much as we sometimes focus on things that we saw that were bad, we also see a lot of good here. Both these teams made the playoffs. Nothing to shrug at. Both 9 and 5, second in their division. Had a good show the other day in game one. IPBJ looks like they're in the lead here to take this best of 3 series. But anything can happen here, so stay tuned.
Now, fear not if you're wondering about the 7 o'clock game. That looks like it has a full crew and will be as scheduled at 7 o'clock. So definitely come back to this channel at that point in time.
Jaws is worried about his arrow count or something here, doing Samaria strats. Must be saving those for some other bosses.
Jaws has silvers. So save those. It looks like I can't quite read it, but it looks like 150 rupees.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's three silver shots. So not quite
that's
enough
great.
for Ganon, but you can get 3 shots and then 3 spins on Ganon. And that's still gonna be faster than a full on spin Ganon. Ironically, PTM now has plenty of money to use silvers on Ganon, but is not the one with the silver arrows.
Yeah, this is a co-op info share, not inventory share. So
Yep.
unfortunately, can't borrow from Peter to pay Paul. Oh, GT was here. I thought it was on the mountain. It was in. So you needed that glove to even get into Gannis Tower. It was
Yeah.
in the M Rock.
Yep. This like I said, that chain to get to Moon Pearl was quite a thing.
Yeah, you see a lot of these co-op modes that aren't entrance. They're done in usually like 120, 130, but entrance do be crazy sometimes. So we're gonna have some probably 150s, close to 2 hours here for some of these, which doesn't feel great, but
Mhm.
this seed was not particularly nice.
No, and like to your point, like the Randomizer co-op mode in particular can go very, very quickly. because depending on how bad the enemy rooms are, sometimes Randomizer makes things better. Usually it makes things a lot worse, but it's very random what actually happens in those modes. But it's still just 7-7. So depending on your layout and stuff, it can go very fast. All dungeons a little bit slower, just because it's the title implies, you have to do all the dungeons. But Retrance, yeah, usually the slower of the 3 co-op modes. The fastest, of course, is Pilot Spoiler, but that's a different kind of co-op.
Yeah, it sure is. And then fast Ganon entrance modes, you beat your last crystal dungeon and rush to the Ganon hole. Here is PTM. Gold sword, so it gets that 1 and 1
Oh,
cycle.
remember this GT Big Key? Dr. Earworm still has to go get it.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Too bad there's nothing at the Eastern Palace entrance he could mirror.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
And then Tyler is going to buy a key. He needs 1 key for that climb. And also has like no money, so key management and money management going to be a big issue for him.
Well, Tyler doesn't need any more money, I don't believe. He doesn't have silvers for Ganon. Just has to do Turtle Rock, so it needs that key just to do Turtle Rock, and we'll be fine after that. Whereas Dr. Earworm is going to need to use. He's got 1,100 rupees. He's fine. The other one, yeah, this team, they never found silvers though, so it's just not going to matter. Power to Mario into Phase 4 of the Ganon fight.
Oh, he'd already climbed GT. I'm sorry, I forgot about what he'd already done. As you said, Dr. Earworm's the one who's climbing, but PTM has done all the spins, and Ganon goes down. He's going to be the first of our 4 runners to finish.
Yeah, with an official race time of 1:45:07.
Awesome Sauce forgetting he only has the lamp, does not have the fire rod, has to do lamp strats in Torches 1.
I hate using the lamp in this room. I hate it
Big
more in the
fan.
other room, though, to be honest. I can never do that thing where you bridge the one tile gap and light this torch on the top. I always light the one on the top right first, because otherwise it's just not going to work.
He does get that 4th one in the bottom left. Just in time. Rushes right over to the left. Doesn't he want to get the key from the mini Helma? So interesting thing about these co-op modes is that the first runner finishes can actually, after they show the end credits screen with all the item collection rate and all the items, can go back in and find items for their teammate. However, I don't think it's necessary today because we already know where all the swords and the silvers
Yeah,
are.
I've never seen a situation in a co-op randomizer, not just in Link to the Past, but in other co-op randomizers, where that actually is useful. Because it's not just a matter of, okay, so you go back in and find something, but now your teammate, is it really going to be time effective for your teammate to go find that item?
Yeah, in co-op, I think I did it once simply to find a key for my teammate who, it was in the co-op reference mode like this, who my teammate needed 1 key to beat 1 dungeon, and I said, well, I'm 10 minutes ahead of you. Let me go find you where the fastest key is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very rare that it ever comes up. And Jaws has a lot of keys and actually has silvers. Tyler Salt is on the Ganon fight,
Eric
however.
Riley has gotten to the end, is in that Ganon fight. Dr. Earworm halfway through the climb.
Yeah, he only has Turtle Rock to beat after this. Jocelyn Sauce is already done, has Turtle Rock, and actually has to go all the way back through Swamp Palace as well. Turtle Rock, very quick. Swamp Palace, not so much. So if we have PTM finishing first, and Tyler looks up to be second, so we'll have to pay attention to the timing of the 3rd and 4th place runners and do some math, possibly. Oh, we get another fire rod shot there, setting up that nice torchlit to get some triples. And the pig goes down for Tyler Salt, finishing just about 3.5, 4 minutes behind PTM. Uh, Dr. Earworm on half a heart does get that last shot into
Oof.
Aga.
Yeah, that gets a little scary because if you have to reclimb the tower, like that is such a huge time loss.
Yeah, that or like an accidental mirror or something. He was
Mhm.
very particular to be on that cape. Looks like he does have cape. Going to get his fire rod and be the last of our runners into go mode. So the time difference between PTM and Tyler Salt is roughly, what is it, about 3:45. So if Dr. Earworm does finish in third place, Jawsome Sauce will have 3 minutes and 45 seconds to come in fourth place. Uh, and anything below that would be a win for IPBJ. Anything above that would be a win for the Longshots. Only say that because Jawsome Sauce actually has more dungeons to complete, and
Yeah,
Dr.
this
Earworm
is
only has to go to TR.
yeah, this has gotten a lot closer than we were thinking this was going to be.
Yeah, those flippers were a problem for IPBJ.
Yep.
I would say they not last located, but darn near last located them. Did a lot of looking for things with a fire rod that Longshots did not. And I think Swamp in Go mode, when you don't have to get any keys, is probably in the 2:30 range.
It's
He's got
really
Gold
fast,
Sword.
yeah.
He does have the Silver Arrow as well. I wonder if he does that for the last phase.
Well,
Um,
and especially with Swamp Palace not being in its vanilla location where you have to drain the dam a bunch of times, right? Like that just when
yeah,
you can just walk in and everything's already taken care of, much faster.
absolutely. And then it's about getting to the Ganon Hole the fastest possible way. And that's
Yep.
at our useless ferry today.
Which is not a bad spot because you can flute the two and then swim across the river and get there very quickly.
Yeah, Dr. Earworm putting that Samaria block in the wrong place. Oh, and then getting some slow lag there. Every second counts right at this point.
I know, right? But yeah, going back to a couple things now. Of course, it was unfortunate that it took the long shots as much time as they did to figure out what they had to do in terms of Ganon's tower. But just a couple other little things. The Ice Palace, the insistence on both runners doing Ice Palace without the big key and not leaving it for later for the second runner to be able to A, do it faster, and B, get that big chest in one. Like them both being in Ice Palace going after that big chest, thinking that was their last location was pretty rough after already getting to back to left side Ganon's tower. All right,
Yeah.
there's Swamp Palace for Jossum Sauce,
Yeah,
and that was
this was not in a very easy to get to location, so that just adds to the time that
yep.
Jaws has
Hmm.
to beat this dungeon. And he did need that small key, I guess. So he also ran out of small key, so he has to get this specky key, or I guess he'll just specky clip and skip the key. No, he's gonna
Uh,
get it.
I mean, you've got your choices of which key to skip. It's hard to say what's fast. I personally like skip. If I'm in go mode, kind of like skipping the Phelps key at the end. The one in the big
Yeah, maybe.
swimming room. I hate that. I hate that room. Like, some of it's just bad memories as a kid trying to go through that room and just, swimming upstream and oh yeah, now you have to go get this key because you go down one way and it's like, oh hi, look, you got another locked door type thing.
Yeah, looks like that's what he's going to do because he grabbed the key in the lobby there.
Hmm.
But I agree. Sometimes those little water skitters can really get in your way. And we get Diver down on the second try. Quick swapping past Mir, giving us all a little bit of a heart palpitation
Yeah,
there.
I hate watching runners have mirror equipped in dungeons. It just makes me nervous.
Longshots finding out, of course, for the second time where the silver arrows were. And that shark goes right to the left. Remembers. This is one of the great things about veterans is
Mhm.
maximizing that key count.
Yep. Yeah, like I think our runners end up on. It's always my goal to end up on 0 keys when I play veterans. It's nice when you actually get to make that happen.
And Dr. Earworm setting up for triples, of course. And simultaneous, there's a crystal drop and Ganon goes down. So the clock is ticking for Jawsome Sauce. Dr. Earworm is going to cross this bridge, and that will start our 3-minute and 45-second counter. I think it's in Jawsome Sauce's hands now. Usually a Ganon fight does not take 3:45, but he has a lot of pressure here. And of course, Dr. Earworm's timer did not stop. It was like 1:54:55, let's call it, just to make it
Yeah,
easy.
and a little unfortunate. He's only got enough money for 1 silver arrow, so he's going to be able to save a little bit of time by only having to do 9 spins, but is not going to get the full benefit of those silvers.
Yeah, so 158.40, I'm going to call it, is the goal here. So if Jawsome Sauce can beat this Ganon fight in the next 3 minutes here. Definitely doable. Does not get the 1-in-1 though. It's the nice setup for phase 2 there, but does not get to the top for those double spins. Gonna bust out the cape just to get some more hacks in.
Yeah, don't know what our potion situation is here.
Yeah, he is running low on magic. He does have half magic, so he can use lamp to get the torch glitch. That'll be necessary, I would say, at this point.
Oh, for sure. And again, even though he's got silvers, is going to want to get that torch glitch because he only has enough money to fire 1 silver shot. It's just so unfortunate. The person with no money is sitting here in the Ganon fight with the actual silvers.
Yeah, 3/4 of the way through phase 3 now, and still has 2 minutes to fight this to finish this fight. So even without some triples, might be able to do it. Okay, he does have a blue, does get that torch glitch as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I like using it that quickly. We're gonna get the 1 shot off, and now we're gonna have to switch to. Ooh, that's not what you want to see when you don't have arrows to shoot.
Yeah, you don't want to get that blue phase. His timing was a little off. The good news is he does still have the torch glitch that is still active. Of course, if he's looking at the race room, he knows that he's got another 1.5 so far, but there is that little 13, 15-second cutscene. Does get that spin in just as Ganon was teleporting. Got to be down to 1 or 2 spins at this point. Getting real close to those fire bats. Missing a couple spins there. That is it. That is going to do it for IPBJ. As long as he can cross this bridge in the next 1 minute, I think that is going to be a win in game 2 for IPBJ.
Yep. Yeah, we people behind the scenes have done the math for us. We do have, in the end, shout out to Jawsome Sauce for working this out. a 151.35 average for the IPBJ, and a 151.53 average for the long shot. So 28 seconds difference. Also shout outs to GFE for also helping out with some of the math in there. Huge shout out to them because trying to do this while doing commentary was not going to be easy. But yeah, that is a win for IPBJ, both in this game and in this series.
Very stressful.
Absolutely, and we are welcomed by all 4 members as we get a little
I'm not
bit
sure
of
who. So somebody came in and just said very stressful. Yes.
Hey, everybody.
GG's, everybody.
Yeah, GG's, guys.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So that moon pearl chain was one of the most convoluted thing I've ever seen. I mean, I feel like the rest of the scene was not that hard. I mean, the hardest thing was you did have to GT climb, you did have to go independent mire.
The hardest thing was we needed to find an arrow shop.
Okay, so we learned something today, Tyler.
Wait until you hear this.
So, as we're at the beginning, Dapper Warman says to me, can the Spectral Rock shop have arrows? And I literally
the paradox.
Check that.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know if
it did. That's where I got my poll.
Kudos to Jossam for pointing that out the second time, because I think we were both there almost at the same time, and we split the route. And he's like, "Have we checked that yet?" And he's like, and I'm like, "Nope, go do it."
I have never ever once thought of that shop in a Retron Seed. Not a single time.
I'm
with you, Tyler. I'm with you.
Completely forgot, and I actually almost went into that shop to buy bombs because I was like down to 3 or something, and I was like, nah, there's a. But the hardest part of this seed is remembering that you have a hammer and a hook shot, and that you found GT.
Yep,
that's the hardest part of this seed.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. What exactly happened?
Do we have
to? So right around the 40-minute mark, we were running low on stuff. Tyler had found the connector to Race Game Left and found our hammer. I had found that pretty convoluted path to the hook shot, which I felt really good about.
Yep.
And I had been doing some practice recently, and I kept forgetting dumb things, right? Mm-hmm. Like the old man connector and things like that. And so my brain was so focused on not forgetting the things that I've forgotten recently.
Oh no.
That there was a point where we were down to only a few places left, and I started having this thought of like, oh no, I've been pretty brain foggy recently. Have I forgotten to tell Tyler something, or did I mistrack something? Mm-hmm. And so we were so focused on, at least I won't speak for Tyler, I was so focused on scanning over the map looking for a square that was gray that maybe I should double check, that it took us probably 10-15 minutes for Tyler was the one who finally remembered, like, oh, word I'm not allowed to say on SpeedGaming. It's just GT.
Mm-hmm.
That was
I use Entrando to track my entrances in entrance, and we found GT or Doc found GT early because he had the glove first, and said, oh, there's a bow in here and Samaria is on the torch, and so I dragged a little bow and a little Samaria over there, right, on top of where it said GT, and then I went and got the bow, right. And didn't clear the icons, and so the little GT like square there, like, or the little GT icon on my tracker is hidden by a cane of Samaria, so it took me a lot longer, I think, than it would have otherwise to say, oh wait, GT is right there, because I didn't see the because I was just kind of like head empty, staring at my map. Like waiting for something to jump out at me, just kind of taking everything in, because I don't think about this thing sort of systematically like that. I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. And it just took that much longer for my attention to alight on that symbol on the map. And Yeah.
Okay.
So that is
I mean, these things definitely happen.
And it's not to take anything, right? Like there's a lot of things I could have done differently than, like if I had marked off the 2 chests I got in GT on my tracker, it would have lit up green when we got the, like there's a lot of stuff. And then little routing mistakes that I made at the end, like when I was cleaning up East F Mountain, I should have done swamp right there. And I forgot.
Yeah, we both had a couple things like that in the end game that could have saved like a minute. Yeah.
Right? Like there's a couple little, like despite the, like we still could have clawed it back, and
you came really close to clawing it back anyway.
Yeah, and I was gonna say the fact that it was this close, we figured the average time is less than 30 seconds, right?
Yep, like 28 if the numbers.
Yeah, the fact that it was this close, considering like how long we were in like panic scramble mode. With the I wouldn't have thought about this 10 minutes ago. But with the added benefit of a little bit more time, I'm pretty proud of us for making it this close, considering that.
Yeah, so, and there was also that you multiple times went into Ice Palace.
Oh yeah,
so that it was the answer,
which was only because we were in that panic mode of like like we don't know where else to go. So this is
might as well do something.
Cold Stare wasn't in logic at the time. We didn't have the big key.
Yeah. And then going back in for the big chest.
And I died at my first trip in there. So
I don't know if you saw me pause after I opened the big chest, but that was another moment of like, we're out of tricks again, because it took a second for it to sink in that we had the TR entrance.
So that was I think maybe one of the fact that you both were fixated on that big chest as the answer.
Because it was literally like one of us has an idea for something that it might be, and we both go there because neither of us has anything else to do.
I mean the fact that you brought it back, like we didn't think this was gonna, like there was this point in time when you guys were looking for the fire rod and IPBJ was looking for the flippers, that we thought, okay, you guys might bring this back because it looked like, and we'll ask them about that in a second. Looked like they were either forgetting Misery Mire or hadn't found Misery Mire, but in the end,
disrespecting Misery Mire.
In the end,
not believing in Juice Town.
They did get there fast enough to keep that lead.
When did you guys climb GT?
They were the first team to climb GT.
They climbed it pretty early.
You weren't that far behind, but it was probably 5 or so minutes after they found.
Because I felt like I felt like that was the natural time for us to do it. But I guess I don't like. Yeah, I don't know. What made you guys climb it when you did?
Well, we knew it was well. So
we knew it was well, and there weren't too many checks remaining, and we knew that right side locked fire rod, and we had this whole conversation about, I should do it while I'm there so I don't have to double back, and Jaws is like, well, we don't have fire rod yet, and if we find fire rod or flippers there, then it's going to lead to a bunch of other things. So I ultimately deferred to Jaws' judgment there, and we decided to just climb.
I think if we had lost by 10 minutes, it wouldn't have felt as bad as losing by 20 seconds.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's, I don't know. I feel like that's often the case.
Especially in this one, right? Because I think we were pretty resigned to like, okay, we're way behind, and then once we hit go mode, it was like, oh, so you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, and then, if it helps, as we're all friends. You guys are friends. I suck at this game. So any better player would have done a lot better at this fights than I did. So if that helps, I don't know. I'm awful. So
tell us about Misery Mire on IPBJ side. I guess at that point there just wasn't much left, and then even when you went into Mire, Dapper Warman and I were saying, well, let's do the quick checks first. Well, then, maybe leave the, instead of doing the efficient full clear, which is what you all did, which would have saved you a little bit of time.
We didn't know if it was a pendant or a crystal yet, because we still had one more outstanding potential crystal.
Oh, okay.
And we didn't have the big key. We didn't have a fire source.
Yes.
So it was like, okay,
that was when you found it the first
time.
You're talking about later.
When you were looking for one item, you went in there and
you did a lot of things first, including finding silvers that didn't help you.
Yeah.
Yeah, those poor silvers that you found that you got to use.
Were those in Hera basement?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got to use one on Ganon, and that's just totally threw off my fight. Like just trying to do anything like with a routine, and then like let me just try to throw in a bolt here.
Yeah, doing half the silverless fight, bonkers.
Like what am I supposed to? I forgot how to make them blue. But like, yeah, so that was just like we're looking for stuff, and I don't know, we're just on my way. We're gonna get there eventually. And there was stuff like because we had the mushroom that was open, we want to check that fast. Like it almost was like hoping
Did
that.
we ever find the potion shop?
Where was the potion shop?
Graveyard Ledge. It was like $20.
Oh yeah, no, we were never gonna get that.
Yeah,
he went there pretty early after we got Mirror. He got that and King's Tomb together.
Because there was the mushroom that's been sitting on Spectral Rock the whole game, right? And then there was the smith that was accessible pretty early after we got the mitts, right? So it was like, you know, these are open world things that could have been something first. So check those.
Doc, we never even considered the smith chain.
Yeah.
Oh no. No, absolutely not.
We had the mitts. It was available to us.
Well, here's the thing. As soon as we were back into like, okay, we haven't mistracked something. We just like had a mental moment. And so it's like trying to.
I'm sorry, I had it backwards. The mitts were after the Moon Pearl. The mitts were in the dam.
So we were trying very. It was a lot of like, okay, don't get tilted. Like, just let's keep making reasonable checks and
some self-care.
Yeah, and so yeah, no, there was because the thing is, once you get to Moon Pearl, it's a pretty reasonable seed. So there's never a reason to think about Smith Chain. There was never a reason to think about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It was just once you get to Moon Pearl, you just do your crystals and you're all good.
Yeah. Did you guys? I'm curious because Humbug's first rule of cross keys was in the back of my mind. Did you guys do the Vanilla Ice Chalice entrance?
No, because we didn't have flippers ever.
Because flippers was your go mode. Flippers was your go mode. Never mind. Yeah.
Doc Sharpmaw had a connector to it, actually.
Yeah, the desert connector led there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not that it ever mattered.
There was nothing there, though. Yeah.
I don't think we ever got to the. I don't think anyone ever picked the rock up over there either.
I don't think so.
Because I think you all found it when you were still a bunny. So.
Yeah, I love that we got to put off the Hyrule Castle entrances for a very long time. We never had to do that until late. Because that's when we had the decision to split us up between Skullwood's boss, Green Pendant Turn-In, and Meyer at the end. And we're like, oh yeah, those entrances are available. We should go there.
Oh yeah. Oh, the ones at the top of Hyrule Castle, you mean? Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'll just give kudos to Jaws because we did throughout the entire seed. We just had really effective communication the entire time, decision making on where to go. Him and I were on the same page for most of the seed. It was really great to play with him.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, all right. Well, so unfortunately, this is the end of the road for the long shots. So, what do y'all have to say to finish things out?
Well, I wish we had finished on a better note, but yeah. But go ahead, Doc. I think you're going to say something that I would also believe.
Yeah, I mean, we went. Last year was our first time making playoffs. We got there with the wild cards. I think we snagged the final wild card.
Snuck in. Yeah.
This year we finished second place in our division, and made it into. So the goal for next year is to do a little better, right? Like that's all we can do.
Yeah.
And
I think you guys can do that.
I love playing with these guys. It's a lot of fun, and the reason that I'm so sad right now is because I want to continue playing co-op matches with my friends. So yeah, thanks to everybody for putting the league on and all those restreams and everything. It's been great.
And shout outs to Timp, who has put in a lot of work this year. And has improved a great deal, and we're really proud of him and love playing with him as well. So shout outs to Tim.
Yeah.
All right, and it's peanut butter jelly time. Let's see. Let me find out who your next opponent is, because I believe they're waiting for you.
We would know because of the seed. It doesn't get reseeded, right? I think we do a
reseed.
Yeah,
that's what I keep hearing.
Oh, right, because it fools. It's got me fooled, because when you look at the bracket, it shows
it looks like
a team that looks like you're feeding into, but I'm guessing that's not the case. But
no.
What are your thoughts on the next round?
So we were the 8th seed, so there's a 50-50 shot.
Yeah,
I don't know what the odds are,
there's lots of teams that you can play.
There's a chance either way that we could be get the high seed or the low seed, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So
I would love a choice again, but hey, whatever. We've only played 2 modes, so we got 2 other ones we could play.
I'm curious. Had you guys decided on what you would have picked for Game 3 if we had won?
AD.
Yeah,
don't tell everybody. No, I'm just kidding.
You don't know
It's situational. That's situational.
Yeah,
I'm just messing.
That seems reasonable. That's what we expected.
Yeah, me and Bitey, that would be the best one to do.
When you have a top tier NMG runner on your team, don't
make it weird. Don't make it weird.
I mean, Bitey's practiced a lot of Randomizer off season before the league season began, so it's who knows.
But still, your strength is still a good to go with. So
just one final time shouting out Jaws again. Like Jaws, at the risk of betraying some information, Jaws literally picked up cross keys like 2 weeks before the cross keys week and crushed it, and has just been getting better and better and better at entrance. So to be able to take a win on co-op entrance is I don't know how you feel about it, Jaws, but it feels pretty cool to see someone just like pick it up and then roll with it really fast.
So I did go ahead.
As Jaws' mentor from the mentor tournament, I'm gonna take all the credit here.
You should.
There you go.
Clout.
The credit and the blame, I guess.
No, I would just like to take the one opportunity I have to say this is AFG's fault. I blame AFG.
Because it's Monday nights, whatever he calls it.
No particular reason, just because it seems like the right thing to do.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
He deserves blame.
No, careful, Tyler, about that mentor thing, because suddenly we'll have a Stone Cold Steve Austin entrance, and Lumaga will come out of here and be like, I was the first one!
Watch out!
Speaking of mentor, if you like cross keys and entrance, I've heard there's a place that's doing cross keys.
They have already hit the sign up.
It's already full.
There you go.
Yeah. So
blame AFG. It's already full.
Blame AFG.
Watch, and you can be part of the boots camp part still.
Yeah.
It's still out there.
Yeah.
Crap, I was going to submit a thing.
I don't know if I should play or mentor, or I'm not qualified for either one. So
yeah.
I'm just gonna sit back and watch it.
Narwhal did both during the last mentor tournament. You could do both.
Yeah.
I signed up. I signed up as a mentor, and I promise I don't usually forget about things like this. So read it to me.
All right. Well, Doc, when you watch this back, give me notes, okay?
We will not be watching this. There's a 0% chance.
Yeah, no.
Some people always watch,
this race
people
back.
never watch. I'm like you guys. I watch back when I win.
Yeah, exactly. That's exclusively.
Yeah. You can rewatch this one, and I'll rewatch the Lions game from yesterday. We'll see.
Which one's more painful?
Lions could still make the playoffs quite well. I mean,
yeah.
Oh God.
GG's everybody.
Thank you for the restream.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for the restream.
Thanks Dapper. Thanks Tracy. Thanks Arya. Thanks Plasma.
And
thank you, Dante.
Go forward.
Thanks, Dante and Sigma and Rossi and all the league folks for making this happen. Yeah, Lumaga. Other names that I just wanted to say thanks, Dante, because no one ever says thanks, Dante.
Blame Dante. No,
thank you, Dante.
Thank you.
All right, I think that's everything. Thank you all. This has been fun. But yeah, that's basically going to do it for us. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't both thank Arya Stark and Plasma Snake, as I always say, the trackers, the true MVPs of our little restreams. Can't do it without them. And Dapper Warman, it was an absolute pleasure doing commentary with you.
It sure was. Thank you very much, Tracy M, for being with me on this afternoon.
All right. And if you want more chaos, tune back in here at 7 o'clock, and we'll have another Retrons race on Restream. Trying to remember who it was. I should bring that up. And that's not the right.
The Cowardly Dodgers, yeah.
The Cowardly Dodgers and the Passivacana versus Cowardly Dodgers. That'll also be Retrons, so a lot more chaos. James FMX and Tepidino versus Latebit and Homewrecker. We'll have TJ Maelstrom and Zeruvian on the call. Furious Prince on the tracking, and I really hope they get a second
broadcast.
Yeah, I hope they get a second tracker because Furious Prince, well, I'm sure he'll do a great job. No one wants a solo track reference. So, but anyway, yeah, we'll hope to see you all for that race. That'll be a great race, and but yeah, that'll do for us. We'll see you at that race. If you've got anything else to add, Dapper Worm, go ahead. Otherwise, we'll see you all next time.
Nope. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
Love you, chat.